Nope. I think we're still on the old one.
No, it says you're live. We're live on the new one. So we might be live on both. That could be interesting. All right, let me see if I can pop out the chat, see if we get any chat. Oh, wow. It opened under the right directly beneath the extraneous video of Azzy. Oh, someone's in there. Woohoo!
Okay.
Della Yassine. Mecca. Hello.
Oh, hey. Cool.
Hello. Let me, I got to be able to see myself a little bit. Okay, so I look okay. Yeah. I can see my fancy necklace and almost see that I'm wearing a Twin Tribe shirt there. There, I'll just do that. You guys can't see it unless you watch YouTube.
Wait, are you wearing a Twin Tribe shirt or am I wearing a Twin Tribe shirt?
We are wearing different Twin Tribe shirts. Because
I'm wearing Fortress Select Tribe. I'm not sure if you can see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, so we're partway there. I am Ruin. Yeah, I don't know why. See if you can see. Oh, Azzy can't see me. We're talking about how my makeup looks like a 4-year-old put it on with a bad crayon.
Yeah, mine too. It's cool.
Not from here. Yours looks like bat wings.
I just kept fucking it up. I was trying to get like nice sharp points and just going further and further down my nose, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that far down your nose, that was me in the 80s. Without the bat wing look, but yeah, my makeup was like that. The same reason. Same fucking reason. And I used to do it with brown eyeliner, which is really funny.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I won't judge you for it, but
I haven't owned a brown eyeliner in years.
I'm using a different powder because this one is white and my other one is like a normal powder, and I couldn't get my eyeshadow like that I draw everything on to do it right. So I'm like, oh, this is hot garbage.
What powder are you using?
It's not actually a face powder. It's a mattifying powder that just happens to be white. Okay,
I can give you some suggestions of something that's not white, but it has a white sheen to it. Like there's a Japanese face powder. It's the best one I've used so far because I have problems with powder too. Sometimes I look like an orange, like a cracking old orange, which is fine if that were the effect I was going for. Okay, I think I see Dea.
Hello.
Hi, Dea.
I hear a Dea.
I hear a Dea also.
We've got Metu Synth, Mecca, Beth Razoth, and Anathafrost. Oh, that's a good name. Hard to say. Cemetery Confessions. I feel butt jokes coming. I am Ruin.
Good.
Wait, did I already
I'll
say
have
that?
to approve them in the chat.
Oh, that's good, because sometimes I catch it and sometimes I don't. So today we're talking about our respective scenes, and I feel like we're missing somebody.
We are. I sent them an invite to the call and a reminder on Discord, but if they pop in, they pop in.
For everybody online, yes, we have the Brady Bunch again. The everybody on the Skype call can't see me. It's hilarious. No, I'm Alice. I'm the maid.
Oh, I think I just kicked a cat.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I've seen when you watch YouTube, I've noticed that more and more cats are creeping into videos lately. Everybody's just like, I want my kitty here too. I'm having a bad week. I don't know where my dogs are. I hope I let them in.
Oh, Daniel, would you like to hop in the stream?
You know what? Give me just a moment. I'm going to go and make sure that I let my dogs in from going potty 45 minutes ago.
You're having camera problems again. What's going on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Last time I had to restart my entire computer, and that's probably what I have to do now. Which is also, the I can't figure it out solution. Hey, I'll be back.
Okay, bye. Riveting. How is everyone?
All right, they were already inside. Better that I freak out now than have to roam the neighborhood trying to find my dogs. What'd I miss?
Well, I tried to start conversation and just got blank stares. So
Oh, okay. What did you try to start conversation with?
How's your day? It was shitty.
Somebody asked you how your day was, or did you ask somebody else that said it was shitty? Because mine was shitty.
No, I asked Malik and Adam, and they just. Is it Adam or is it Adem or is it?
We've lost your sound.
Now we
sweetie.
can't hear you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes. I thought you were going to have to sit there and look pretty for a while.
Question. I said, I'm well, thank you. How are you? And how's everyone?
Aw, so now I don't feel so bad.
We're good. At least we are good.
I'm working on my alcoholism again.
Azzy, Malik, Deus Siculus, but I can't.
Yeah.
I am so something.
Okay, give me just a sec, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties. I have a lot of things going on this desk. A lot of USB devices, so there's like wires everywhere.
Azzy, I can't see you on my computer. I can
That's
see you on the live
shame
screen.
because I look amazing.
Yeah, Azzy looks fantastic. Everybody looks fantastic.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's really weird.
I like it. Let me see if I can make my hair bigger.
I don't know
then
what
I
to
can
tell
feel
you.
like I look good too. But on the good side, when I finally get it cut, there will be enough length in my hair to actually mix it in with the grown out undercut that is now 4 inches long.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's long enough to tease to kind of integrate it into my hair. All right, we lost Adam.
Yeah,
They did. Yeah.
What?
What is their pronoun? I don't know.
My pronoun?
See.
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to prefer he, but I'm not offended by they or she. I mean, pronoun's a pronoun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am periodically offended by he, but it depends on the situation. It doesn't matter all the time, but sometimes it does.
Same here, yeah.
Like it at work where they can't figure out who the fuck I am and they keep calling me Michael because they can't figure out my name and then say he when I'm not in the room. That is offensive to me. But if somebody
You
just
must
calls
be a
me,
boy. You must have a penis. Sorry.
I have an opinion,
that's how that
therefore that's the
works.
only acceptable way, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
But,
is.
Not being derogatory, then.
The penis is the least that matters,
You think?
actually.
Exactly.
Intact.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
am sure.
Yeah. There are people who work around a lack of larger gifts all the time. Sadly,
So
it's
I'm
rarely
not
at
sure.
work.
I'm not sure if our other guest is coming. We shall
Okay.
see. If they pop in, they pop in.
We've got our ace moderator, Acid Bitter. I've got a hot game of Animal Crossing going here. You know what? I'm just going to say it loud and proud. I fucking hate that game. I tried playing it a while
Me
ago.
too! Yes!
I hate it.
Yes, me
Oh
too!
my god, where's
I
that
hate
little
it!
yellow puppy dog realtor? I just wanted to strangle her.
Oh.
I had it on my 3DS.
So- Acid Bitter suggests making the stream full screen.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I would love to make that stream full screen. Something about my OBS won't let it. I've tried, and all I can do is warp it. So, I am on board with that times 5. So let me see if I can get my display capture to not piss me off. No, it doesn't really have anything.
Unsubscribe.
Oh, you can
I'm
unsubscribe if you
about
want.
to.
Oh, wait, yeah, unsubscribe. It's Obscura Undead.
Mhm. Keep us small and underground.
Full screen.
If we get too many subscribers, we'll probably just get super ego and like sell out and wear Killstar and advertise for Doll's Kill and shit.
I'm surprised there's not more thumbs down after that Animal Crossing comment, though.
So
Okay,
notice
I
the video has stopped. I've been trying to make you guys full screen. So let's go to that. Okay. It's cool. Is anyone moving? I can't see. I can't see the... Oh, y'all.
Oh.
Yeah,
This is not
some
going to
moving.
work. Oh my god.
What's going on?
It's eating my machine. See if I can get... Okay. I can't full screen safely. I can do this so it's a little bit better. There you go. Hang on. I can make it a little. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, this is
It
bullshit.
says that everyone's frozen.
Everyone is frozen.
Yes, you're
But there's
all
like
frozen.
some nice like mouse effects dragging across the screen.
Oh shit, you're frozen on Skype. Ah, piss. I'm gonna. Oh, Azzy, you look fantastic. I'm getting out of Skype. I'll come right back. No, I won't because I can't. Okay. Something happened on my main screen. I've resized a little, so I have issues, y'all. It's gonna make people want to puke for a sec here while I work on this. Okay, that's as big as it gets, Acid Bitter, and boy, have I tried a few things. That did not go well. At all.
According to the comments, only skullgirdle seems to be moving, whereas everyone else is frozen.
They'll
we're
catch up.
moving
They'll
again.
catch up in a minute. You're moving again.
We're
It was-
moving.
Yeah, it did a full screen
I think I'm frozen though.
on both screens with the OBS software. So it covered it, laid it in front of you guys. So that's what we were all seeing, and I was having a little heart attack there, but that's cool. It's cool. I survived it. I survived it with very low-ish damage. Okay, so who wants to talk about their scene first? Three of y'all's is at the same scene.
we should
Oh, we should introduce people.
not true, but we should do like an introduction.
Oh, you're right. You're in two cities. I forget. I blend you guys together.
3, but whatever. Anyway,
I'm
so
not in a city.
we are about 10 minutes in. This is the introduction. Welcome to the stream. This week we'll be talking about subculture shock and our local scenes respectively. And what do I mean by subculture shock? Well, goth has its own set of, social rules and mores and shit. And learning those as a beginner, as a newbie to the scene, can lead to a lot of issues. At least for myself, I know it did. Getting used to the way people speak to each other, dress, interact in social spaces, all that jazz. So, cool.
I just opened something right in front of y'all's faces. So sorry.
Anyway, so I'm going to start it off, and we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. I am Azzy. I live in Tampa. I'm a DJ. I'm assuming that everyone on the stream already knows that, so I'm going to keep it brief. Who wants to go next?
Sorry, I just saw what happened on the YouTube.
Yeah, Dea, you just nominated yourself.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm Dea. I used to live in New York. Now I'm here in Florida. So a lot of, I guess, my culture shock is going to be more with either like moving down here or just getting started actually in New York City. But that's like decades ago. So.
Well, what city in Florida, and what scene do you usually go to?
So the scene that I go to visit is the Tampa one most often, and as far as where I live, in a swamp.
Swamp goth.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, Malik, since you're grinning.
Yep.
Yeah, I am Malik. I come from Puerto Rico, and I'm gonna be speaking about the scene over there too. I'm a DJ in Orlando, and the Orlando scene, along with the Obscura Undead. So, yeah, pretty much it.
Michelle, you go next.
Okay, I'm Michelle. I live in the DFW area. Oddly, I've moved away from here, but I've lived in this area for so long that my days of youth and days of now are both in the DFW area. Dallas,
And
Fort
last?
Worth. Sorry, Texas.
Thank you. I mean, I figured it out, but I would have
Yeah,
had
so I didn't
if it
realize
wasn't good at geography.
Sorry about that.
And my name is Adam. I live in Canada. I was born and raised on the east part. Sorry, I was born in the east part of the country, Montreal, which is not too far from New York. But I've spent the majority of my life here in Vancouver, which is only about 3 hours away from Washington State. And this is my first time joining this live stream, and I'm a huge fan of Obscura Undead. And thank you for having me. I couldn't be more grateful.
Oh, thank you for showing
Well,
up.
you've written something from us. Technically, you're a part of Obscura Undead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank
We have a really low bar around here.
That explains why I'm here.
Oh wow.
Dana.
Okay. Well, you know, we have a low technical bar for sure because every week something different has changed, so I can screw stuff up. So
I
okay.
just wish I was able to skullgirdle. I can't see you, Michelle.
Yeah, you guys can't see me on Skype, but they should be able to see me on YouTube. I have a separate camera for my YouTube.
I can see you on YouTube. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
my
still
that's my
can
fancy
see
setup.
Assy.
I don't know why you can't see me. That makes me so sad.
So Assy, I can see you on my YouTube. I just can't see you on my stream. Like,
Oh, maybe you're showing. Yeah, I have a separate window. So I see Malik three times because I'm looking at the OBS. I can see everybody looking really good, but I'm not looking at YouTube. I'm looking at my
you don't
actual
want to.
recording.
You don't want to see me that many times, then.
No, I'm fine with it.
Nah.
I think you look
I think
cute.
4 is the charm.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have 4. I don't have my other camera hooked up at this time.
You're trying your best. You're trying really hard. You can only be proud of yourself.
Right. So interestingly, I feel like I don't really participate in the Dallas scene too much. I go to see shows whenever I can, and I go to goth nights, but it's an hour paid parking that I may or may not be able to find. Wanting to, if I meet somebody there, if they cancel on me, I've spent all that time to get there, and then trying to get out of there, and it's very confusing to get to whichever clubs. I still make it. And I've also been to one in Fort Worth, and we had one in Denton. So we have a ridiculously active scene, but when you go to a show, you don't go to a show that has all goth music. Does that make sense? No show is all goth music.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the closest thing to gothic rock we've had here in the 3 years I've been going to shows again is Clan of Zymox. We have a death rock band.
That's not even.
Y'all, I'm just saying. We have death rock. We have Blood Bells. Blood Bells in Denton. So they're death rock with that goth rock kind of feel to it. And then we have Rose Garden Funeral Party.
I love them.
And Garden of Mary.
They're okay.
So that's the 3 bands, but there's all these there's some very, very interesting bands out there, but when you go see somebody, pretty much Rose Garden Funeral Party is going to play with them. So so I've seen them play like 4 times, 5 times, 4, I think. Anyone else?
Well, you'd like to say about the scene in Vancouver. Well, not sure if I'm really proud to announce this, but I don't really participate too much in the scene here. I'm more of a concert goer than I am a clubs and the scene kind of person. I mean, of course, I'm friends with a couple of goths, and some of them follow you actually on Instagram. But no, I'm just generally a concert goer more than anything. There's this new local band called Manticore Kiss, and Azzy's familiar with them. I know you love them.
They're pretty great.
I'm just going to write that down right now.
Yeah, Manticore Kiss. I will be writing an article or a blog or something for Obscura Undead.
Nice.
And hopefully have them interviewed. I would describe their style as being a cross between the electronic kind of dark wave crossed with neoclassical dark wave. And they're a male-female duo. They're both partners. And they, one of them sings, the female, whereas the male plays the cello, I believe it is, or those big violin-like things. I don't play instruments, so...
Yep, that's a cello. That's a cello.
That sounds like a cello.
And they're amazing, so...
It's a bass violin.
Yeah. Something like that. It does sound very bass-driven.
Hell yeah, it'll sound great. Yeah, so you're kind of similar to me. I do go to goth nights. I fucking love goth nights because every time I go, I see my friend Clint. We don't go together. He's the guitar player singer for Blood Bells. I just happen to the one goth friend I have in Denton. It happens to be the one dude in the one band in Denton. So it kind of it works out. I'd written them on Bandcamp and he answered. He was the only one who answered of all the Texas bands I wrote. And then we met at Denton's Goth Night, which is defunct now. But I tend to go to whatever show I can get to that's kind of remotely goth. but I have crowd anxiety. I think it's a form of agoraphobia where being in crowds with strangers bumping against you, and I will have a complete fucking breakdown and go into the bathroom and lock myself in and cry for 2 hours. So I don't like to do that in public, so I take someone with me and I start drinking the second I get to the club. And it works. It works for me. But I've been to the, oh God, I forget what they call it in Fort Worth. I went to the last one before the venue closed. It was nice. It was casual. It was fun. But I usually, if I'm going to go to a goth night, I usually go to Panopticon. But a few years back, I would go to the church. So we have goth nights, I kid you not, on Wednesday. And I've been to the one on Wednesday, which is, I can't even remember what they're all called. We have a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and a Sunday. And then we have a once a month Saturday in the DFW area.
Well, don't you also go to your concerts with Angela, Miss Angela?
Yeah. I used to drag her to the Denton Goth Nights, and right when we were getting to where, like, the DJs would come up and talk to us, and everybody there, the bartenders, they had to close because they didn't have enough people going there, and they had a door person that scared everyone away. So, well, when you're bitchy snob to people at the door, some people don't like that. And in Denton, it's casual. You would see everything. I mean, you'd see a ska punk, dudes in their whatever day clothes, people in capes, just everything. People were freely dressing up, and there would always be somebody who was like dressed way up. But if I go to a show, there's like 3-4 of us who are dressed up in a show of like 100 people. So I don't know how it is for you, Adam. Is it the same?
So, well, here in Orlando, we have zero goth, no scene at all. But we have
that's not true.
Wait, that's not true. You're there.
Wait. I'm gonna get there. Get there. Wait for it. Thank you. But we have synth pop and new wave and all that DJ around. We also have EBM DJs around here. And whenever Obscura Undead put out a show, that's when we actually have gothic rock and death rock and all that. Right. Other than that, you're gonna hear like some synth pop and dream pop and stuff like that, which is
half hour of Depeche Mode.
Yeah, half hour of Depeche Mode or
send
stuff
me an
like
angel,
that.
No matter what, send me an angel.
And that's fine. That's fine because most goth like it. And I'm not criticizing, but what I'm saying is not proper goth.
Right.
So don't go around and call it what it's not. But anyway,
that's the
other
same
than that,
here.
well, Obscura Undead does shows here. So whenever we're around, you're gonna hear
spooky.
it. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, it gets gothy. Gothicized. Yeah, we have the same thing where there's always going to be new wave. There's always going to be shit that people dance to. And the first time I went to Panopticon, I couldn't figure out why the music was so fucking bad. It was Witch House, which I personally don't like. I danced anyway because I was sad. I was doing this sad dance. I'd been drinking. My friend and I were both just in that place. We were just sad dance. Luckily, if we'd been by ourselves, we probably would have cried. Just full sad dance. So sometimes when you sad dance, you don't care what's playing.
Hey, Stat. What? Can you turn the volume down?
Someone watching videos in the background?
No, my husband's playing video games.
Oh, okay. I can get behind that. Good coping mechanism. But yeah, we have the same thing, Malik. And they do play some goth in every set, but they're always goth industrial.
Yeah.
I've never been to a DJ show that wasn't mixed. Unless Azzy's wasn't, because I've been to one of those. So it would have been absolutely beautiful, but I've just never been to one that was like all just absolutely definitely goth music. We always have the Sisters of Mercy. They always play that "Send Me an Angel" song.
Oh my God!
And Space Age Love Song. I love Space Age Love Song. I love that song. So.
Oh yeah, me too. But I'm sick and tired of hearing it.
Right. But when I see requests for just for Panopticon, I don't see the requests for the church that much. When I see the requests there, they're almost always new wave or new romantic, like not Dead Can Dance. You Spin Me Round.
Dead or Alive.
Thank you.
Dead or Alive.
I was going to say Pete Burns, but I was like, no. So stuff like that. I think the church probably plays at least just goth industrial with much less new wave. I just don't hear a lot of Depeche Mode. I do, but it'll be like one song.
Yeah.
In Tampa, we have a little bit better of a mix. Don't laugh, it's true. And not just when Obscura Undead spins, because of course I'm always gonna plug my shit because I like what I spin. But
do you DJ in Tampa?
No.
You don't?
Have, the castle. No,
Not
I do.
really.
I was being sarcastic.
Sometimes
okay.
we do. Sometimes.
What was I saying? Oh, we have the castle, which is like the big club. Everybody wants to go to the castle because it's like the goth industrial club, and
it's overwhelming.
it's really
fucking,
big.
It's
Usually
fucking
the
amazing.
main floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main floor upstairs is just usually a bunch of industrial and EBM and synth pop, and it's not really my jam, but it's usually the most packed floor. People dig it.
It is.
I usually hang out on the patio, which
Yes.
I
Old school?
really like it. It's not always old school. When DJ Neva spins, she has pretty much all the music I could ever want, and I'll just put request after request after request, and she'll spin old stuff and new stuff and goth stuff, and that's always super duper cool.
Yeah.
But then sometimes the patio gets it gets new wave, it gets old school, it gets metal sometimes, like AC/DC. And I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my hour of goth.
Yeah. I can't remember what they played because Ian took us on, Gothin and Alcove took us on the big tour. And we spent a little time everywhere. And I think we went to the patio twice. And one time it was old school goth, and the other time it was something AC/DC like, but not that bad. And I was like,
and then,
I don't know what's happening here. But that's cool. It gets
and then we
people in
also
there.
have we have a bunch of 80s nights around town. We used to have a death rock night. I think that ran for 3 months, 2 years ago. And I heard mixed things about it. I never got to go because by the time I found out about it, it was dead.
You gotta be willing to have nobody there and sometimes be able to finance it for a good 6 months so the word starts to get out and it gets consistent, or people just stop going. Yeah,
but we do have an old school goth night at Dominion, which is in North Tampa. Get the fuck out of here. Go away. And Dominion's really great. That's run by DJ Blixen. And that night, I hate the venue, but I like that he spins a bunch of goth stuff.
Yeah, I can understand.
And I'm biased too because he invited me to spin, and it was so much fun. And I got to spin all the death rock I wanted.
Oh, that's cool.
We have an 80s theme night here in Vancouver as well. I forgot the name of the man who runs it. It's got good reviews. It's respectable. But I only attended one of their events, and that's because it happened right after a concert. It was Pink Turns Blue, and that was just last September. It was okay. Pardon me, Michelle?
That would be a good one for it.
Yes, I agree. Although the goth tracks you could probably count on one hand.
Yeah.
They played Dominion by Sisters of Mercy. They started with a Cure song. I just can't remember which one. It was off the Disintegration album. But you just count on one hand, really. Everything else was stuff that I didn't recognize. So I got kind of bored and I ended up leaving.
Oh, I have a question. What is all of your scenes staple Depeche Mode songs, The Cure songs, and Sisters of Mercy songs?
Sisters is always My Lucretia or This Corrosion. It's rare that I hear Alice or Marianne. I don't know that I've ever heard Marianne in a club.
I've heard Marianne in a club. That's one of the ones that they like to play on the First Friday 80s nights, music video nights.
Every day is Halloween is how everybody fucking starts their goth nights here.
You know what you're getting into.
And then they usually go to a sister's song, and it's a crapshoot whether you're going to get My Lucretia, or did I say it wrong? Is that Dominion? No. I don't know. Is it My Lucretia? Isn't that the name of the song? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Or This Corrosion. Or this corrosion. Yeah, Dominion is the Mother Russia song, right? I like that one too.
The song is called Lucretia, My Reflection.
Right, didn't I say Lucretia, My Reflection the first time?
No, I don't know.
I
don't
don't
even know.
I think you just said my Lucretia.
I
but-
didn't even question it when you started talking until you questioned it, Michelle.
Back in
I don't care,
1987,
I don't care.
in 87, This Corrosion was the song that was played all the time in the club I went to, and every once in a while it would be Lucretia, My Reflection. I could have said anything. I have no idea what's happening. Who am I?
The Cure song that gets a lot of play that I hear is shit. What song is? What is the name of it?
Is it
Okay,
just like,
pass. It is Just Like Heaven.
Yeah, it was like Just Like Heaven. In
Oh
a
my
very
God.
rare case, you'll get 100.
Yes.
were
And remember they spun on in recently when we hang out together between days like 2 times.
Oh, that was the song they played twice.
Oh my God!
Here, and they played In Between Days twice.
I don't really listen to the Cure very much, so
It's like
And I think we go between Cities and Dust and Spellbound for Susie. There's always a Susie song somewhere in Dallas. And Susie, Cities and Dust is one of my favorite songs that they do for dancing to. Just for listening is like, not Dazzle. Damn it. Killing Jar's a good one. I can't remember the song now. Whatever. You know,
Michelle, I think you and I have something in common. We have such a hard time with song titles because you and I tend to be album listeners. We select an album, play, and just enjoy the whole record.
It's like song 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when people have asked me about playlists, because people ask all the time, I made a playlist. I lost it in my last laptop. But I listen to albums, so my playlists are album after album after album. I like put a whole album on the playlist, and that's why I lose song titles. Thank you, Adam, for pointing that out.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like such a fucking unicorn on some of that stuff, because people are like, oh, this song, and I was like, okay, what album is it on?
Actually, the reason why I remember titles is because I have to write it down whenever I want to spin them.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, it's your job.
I remember.
Right.
It's
I
your
figured
literal
DJs.
job.
Your job.
Right.
Yeah.
So spending time with
No,
DJs.
a job implies you get paid.
That's fair.
Don't you make at least 5 cents? One drink?
No?
Jesus fuck, man. Okay.
Who gets paid as a DJ?
I mean,
It's not like I'm
not
spinning
buying
weddings.
I have you gotta, well, if you want to get paid as a DJ or photographer, you gotta put up with weddings. And if you can't handle it or don't want to handle it, don't do it.
But
I got
I
from
know,
Alcove. I hear more Peter Murphy over Bauhaus played here.
that's because everyone wants to play Cuts You Up, and I'm just like, that's a good song. Stop.
Really? That's also Peter Murphy.
Same.
It's Bela Lugosi's dead. In the DFW area, it's almost always Bela Lugosi's dead or she's in parties. Passion of Lovers once in a while.
Yeah, she's in parties.
She's in parties.
Yeah, how do I know that many song titles? I don't know anything.
You're impressing yourself.
I am impressing myself. It's because it's old. If it's old when I used to learn song titles, now I'm like, yeah, that album's good, man. Bauhaus never gets played anymore. Yeah, seriously, Bela Lugosi's Dead is the most likely one I hear. And because I don't go to that many goth nights, and because I listen to In the Flat Field. Wait, doesn't that have Bela Lugosi's? I don't care. Whatever, I love that song. It almost can't be overplayed for me. I just fucking love that song. So I'm loud and proud, love Bauhaus.
Sammy Moto, I'm going to play Dark Entries for you.
What?
Unless Malik gets there first.
Yeah, I also spawned last time. What was it?
I love Dark Entries.
Passion of Lovers. Yeah, you were there. You remember? At Mannequins.
Where?
Yeah.
At Mannequins. There's a club here
I wasn't there.
in Sanford. No, I mean Azzy. They were with me.
Well,
at
you're
the
all
time.
looking at me, so I just assume it's about me because you're all looking at me.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. Okay. I thought you actually said my name because I am living in a different dream world and it's nice here.
I just keep hearing burbs.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, same, right?
Is that Sparky?
No, it's not.
Is that Adam? Do you have a burb?
I've got 2 lovebirds.
I was gonna say they're a
okay.
much smaller bird, whatever it is.
Yeah, we had lovebirds.
If it
when I
was
a
my
kid.
parrot, it would be bad. That was part of why I was late.
Passion of Lovers when they did it live in Dallas was out of this world. Really good. It's just one of those songs that I sometimes forget about, and then all of a sudden, when I hear
It's
it, I'm
a
like,
beautiful
God, I forget how
song.
good
I
this
love
song
it.
is. Yeah, because my
I
favorite
love that song.
Bauhaus is Silent Hedges. That's my ultimate favorite Bauhaus, and
Oh,
Hollow
Yes.
Hills. Those two, because Hollow Hills is creepy as fuck.
Oh, Hollow Hills is lovely. I love
That's a
that
good
song.
That is a good
Well,
song.
the 2 playing behind each other, or whatever that word would be, they on the Crackle. One I think is track 9, one's track 10, one follows the other. Not sure if you have that compilation.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I have Silent Hedges. Oh, fuck. Is that on Masked? I can't even remember what albums they're on right now because I've been listening to In the Flat Fields. It's been what I've been listening to the most.
Yeah.
Double
Gong.
Dare. Double Dare. Good song. Burbs. Oh, burbs meaning birds.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what?
I was
The
just
Shroud
gonna
did an
say-
amazing cover. Yes, they did.
I was just gonna say Christian Death. I'm getting also really sick of hearing Romeo's Distress when there are other really
Oh
great Christian Death songs.
gosh. And
That's the only one I
that's-
know because I don't listen to that band very much. And it turns out for Christian Death, my favorite Christian Death is when it's done by another band.
Please do not say Crew Lies. I will have to go to DFW
I
and
was
Shut
gonna
up.
say
Thank you.
Faith in the
Thank you.
Muse or Reina de
La
I am
Reina
very
de los Condenados.
Condenado. I
Your
can't
new
even
favorite band.
believe that band exists. I've been looking for albums for like 2 days trying to find them, and I just can't.
They're on Amazon.
Very good.
Excuse me, I
very
think I
good.
just swallowed a fly.
You're learning
Yeah.
some underground music.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks to Azzy. Thanks to Azzy was like, oh, let's look at
Oh,
this one.
who taught Asi? Asi, who told you about that band?
I believe it was you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm
Well,
kidding.
that band,
Okay.
y'all, that band has something. They've got something different. They've got something special, and they stand out. And they
Yep.
have. I mean, that it's the thing. You know how I feel about people using their own culture that they grew up with in their goth music. How much I love it, but they just do good goth music. They just do good music
Yes.
across, and even taking that element out of it, which you really can't. But they're just fucking fantastic, and that's a standout band.
hmm You know who does a really good cover of Spiritual Cramp? Talking to the chat now because they are in agreement with me. Thank you, by the way. Is Dea? Do you want to give Adria a plug?
Yeah,
Yes,
that'd be
please.
Tears for the Dying.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really impressed with their.
That's a great cover.
Yes.
That's a good
That's
band.
the
Good band.
that's the greatest cover. Yes.
I will have to listen to
I'll
it.
definitely let Adrian know.
Instead of the other one, I don't know. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
Adam.
I don't
definitely
even
worth
want
it.
to
It's a
mention
great
that
cover.
Yeah,
thing.
what are
The
they?
other cover, or another song of.
What would you call them? Very morose death rock. They have a more morose sound. They have like a slower, darker sound to me.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I say
Their
morose.
later album, yeah. I wasn't sure if we were still talking about that when the other cover came up because I'm not good at following things.
No, I just meant the
but
band.
yeah,
I meant the
with-
band.
Yeah, it's definitely more morose. There's definitely that slower pacing to
Right.
it. I think we're going to see that a lot in the album after Memories, which just released on Monday. Because Memories is like more of a punk vibe to it, but the
Yep,
stuff
yep.
that they're already working on for the next album is back to that very like morose, slower pace. There's even one track with and
I know,
there's
yeah.
one track that's got like a little bit of like surf rock in it as well in the next one, so that's going to be interesting.
Right.
They're
right.
still working on it. So who knows what the final album will be.
I like their sound a lot because their sound to me is truly dark. Because a lot of times what you're seeing with modern music, because there's a lot of outside influences. They put those 2 or 3 riffs that we all hear that are post-punk, or they put whatever twang that they called, well, actually Death Rock has still got a lot of the originality going. Somebody puts that in there, and then the band's not really that dark. You know what I mean? They just have that sound because that sound is popular and stuff like that. So when you hear a band, a new band especially, a young band, which is even more fun for me as an old bastard here, that they have that originality or that they really have that darker sound. I just
When
get
you
excited.
say a
It's
young
really good.
band, what do you mean?
Under 45 at this point. Under fucking 45 years old, because
That is all.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna reveal any ages.
you know what? I didn't look at their photos. They just have. I don't
That
know.
might not help.
Yeah, I
it's,
listened to a bunch of stuff
the people
yesterday.
in the band are very different in age range. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
There's about a
perfect.
20-something year difference between the younger and older members.
Well, that's
So,
perfect. That gives you different influences, and it can make you very innovative. So,
Mhm.
with your scenes, with ours, I mean, I'm walking along, listening to whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is fill in the blank band. It turns out it's Sisters of Mercy, and I just couldn't tell because it's all distorted and shit. Do you guys ever get newer music played at your scenes that you're not playing yourself, DJs? I saw you said that. How about, do you get newer music, and if you request it, do they actually play it?
Okay, I got 2 answers to that. Do I hear new music if I'm not playing it myself? Yes, because I like when Malik spins. And do I hear new music if I request it? The answer is yes of specific DJs. That's why I like Neva so much at the castle.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
some DJs are less averse to new music, but they got to get that dance floor full, y'all.
Well,
I am.
I love
getting
Neva.
played
I love Neva. She's been really good music. But the last time I asked for one specific band, she didn't have it. So
What did you ask her for?
No.
Come with reverse.
oh, come with reverse. Yeah, come with reverse.
Was it
I wanted
obscure?
to dance to that.
Oh,
Come
no,
with
not really.
reverse.
They're not
You
super
you
obscure.
haven't heard it?
No.
Wait, say it again.
Come with reverse. Say it, Asi. I don't
Come
know.
with reverse.
No, you were right. It just sounded like you were gonna say cunt, and I was like, what?
No, not that.
No, when he slowed down, I could tell he was saying come.
What? Come?
Yep.
No,
We
I
have
was
just gone
saying
south
that.
again.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna get destroyed in the chat.
Okay, so Beth Razoth says, I thought the way that Azzy was so open to requests during her live stream was awesome. Did not expect that. See, so
I love requests. Okay, let me rephrase that.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Good
I thought you
requests.
hated requests.
I hate bad requests. I love good
Oh,
You
requests.
yeah.
always say that you're going
Hey,
to play what you're
but
going to
I
play.
love
You don't
requests.
care
you like
what people
requests as long as it's
request.
something you like.
That's because people usually request like Front 242 or Rammstein. I'm just like,
Or
That
Kid
doesn't-
Rock.
what
that
in the
doesn't-
like? Oh my God, Kid Rock! Some woman cornered me at Pegasus
Or
Lounge
Marilyn
once.
Manson or Roast Zombie, and I'm like, I don't have that.
Well,
don't
when it
have
doesn't
it.
when it doesn't fit your
Sorry.
set, that's when DJs will turn you down. I found when it really doesn't
Yeah.
fit the set. So
Yeah.
and when you go to a goth night and they pull out some fucking metal to try to make other people happy, I remember sitting there and being like, what the fuck is this shit? What is
Calm
this?
down.
And I was like, is that metal or is that goth? And I listen to a lot of goth that hits that harder edge of guitars. So I was like, well, this doesn't sound like goth. And finally I was like, oh shit, we're listening to metal. Why is there metal at my goth night?
Well, for metal, you're supposed to mosh, because I'm a metalhead
Right.
as much as I'm goth, so you mosh to that, you headbang, you raise the horns, that's what you do. Dancing, that's more of an industrial goth thing, so they're trying to throw in some, I don't know, Cradle of Filth or something there. It's just, that's exactly why I don't go to the so-called goth nights here in
Right.
Vancouver, because I'm able to access the set lists via Google. I can't remember the exact names of the nights, and I probably shouldn't reveal them anyways. But, I look them up on Google, and I can read the set lists. I can send you the links if you want. And, yeah, it always goes Rammstein, Cradle of Filth, Marilyn Manson. Sometimes if they throw in the emo
Ooh.
stuff, My Chemical Romance and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 goth songs, from sits to his mercy, and that's what I'm putting in quotes, meaning it's something that's so
Right.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And you get the rest of the playlist is just obscure EBM mixed in with the Rammstein and that sort of thing.
Huh.
And then they call it goth night, and they have all the pictures of the people dressed in black, posing like this, posing like that, and and they expect to have a goth night. I'm not going to pay money for this. I'm not foolish.
I think that I like that you raised the Marilyn Manson thing, because you don't quite get out of every goth night in my area without Marilyn Manson. But usually it's like one song all night. And I can't remember, it'll be Sweet Dreams or The Beautiful People or, something relatively popular.
This is Halloween.
That's Jesus.
No, I have heard that at a goth night, but I guess I go to more than I thought. But usually it's something real famous, because I don't really know Marilyn Manson very well. I just don't.
Dope Star.
Maybe
Oh,
way.
no. The cover from Soft Cell, Tainted Love.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, that is the
Yeah.
last one I heard. But I've also heard Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, I know.
Because for me, Marilyn Manson
That-
covers are great, but the rest I don't care.
That's why I don't have it. Because whenever people ask me about it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have that. I only have goth music.
Right.
You know,
I just
why,
don't.
though?
I just don't listen to it.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to that in your room. That's
Yeah.
fine. In
I
your
know
car.
that.
That's fine.
I know that
But
this
not
is
at,
really,
at a
like,
goth night. Don't
a
do
really
that.
mean
Don't-
thing to say, but
don't
like if
people
there's
do that.
a night that I don't like the music at, and that's my only place to socialize, I'd rather invite people to a parking lot and bring a speaker.
Listen to it on your cell
well,
phone
you could
in a cup.
definitely get down with that.
Someone told me about
Adam, can you
doing
turn your
something
volume
like that
up?
recently, but I forgot.
Oh, Acid Bitter says
Adam, what were
Coil
you
does the
saying?
best Tainted Love. I'll have to listen to that because I love that song. But I don't even hear. I've heard Tainted Love at a goth night in the last 2 years, but I think maybe once. So I mean, they got the thing. Ultimately, a lot of times DJs, the pressure to keep the dance floor moving the whole time, they wind up not necessarily playing what they would play if they could just play music. And
Yeah,
I've
this
seen
is
it
true.
at our club. You can see when they play Thrill Kill Cult because somebody requests it. The dance floor empties like a bunch of rats fell from the ceiling. I think it would fill with people catching rats because they're so cute. But then they come back and they play. That's when they'll pull in something like Tainted Love or not Space Age Love Song, just some new wave crap. You Spin Me Round if it's really bad because that gets the nostalgia people out. I mean, I love that
I'm
song.
a bad
and I love a lot of
DJ
this
because
music.
of that.
But if you
I
can
never
keep
played for the dance floor.
Yeah, and you've been able to not play for the dance floor, you probably have a following that actually comes because they like what you spin. That would
Oh
be
yeah,
my guess.
it's just stubbornness. I could probably get more gigs and shit if I played for the dance floor, but I don't want to. I'd rather play something interesting.
Yeah, well, I'd have a
Sorry.
stick. I'm not a DJ, but I'd have a stick up my ass. I'd completely have a stick up my ass, and I would not just play something to fill the dance floor, and you would never hear metal or Marilyn Manson. And I don't dislike
Well, I
metal
look
or
forward
Marilyn
to that
Manson.
night.
Yeah, I put together a kick-ass gothic rock playlist that was me, but I lost it. I only remember one song that was on it, and I have no time.
So I have some things to say. First thing is, Adam, can you turn your mic up in any way, shape, or form?
I can try.
Just,
And then the second thing I
Just
wanted
lean
to
forward,
say
Mike Mallett.
was, I can't do that.
Is this better?
Yes. I think the thing is that it's trying to pick up the burbs, and you're a much lower frequency than the burbs.
Oh, I see. Well, how about when I talk now? Can you hear me better?
Yes,
yeah,
much
it's
better.
a little bit better.
If you find the birds getting utterly distracting, just let me know and I can take them into the bedroom.
I'm cool.
Well,
But
he
what
just
were you
wants to be
saying
part.
earlier that you didn't get? No. What? Adam, what were you saying earlier that you were too quiet to hear on?
I forgot. Oh, yes, actually, I've got a story. It's not my story, it's my friend's story. So, not too far from where I live, there's an island, and there's a city on that island called Victoria. So, it's just towards Seattle, the border area. And my friend who lives there told me that they had putting that in quotes again, And she said that at this golf night, the very sounds like someone fell. Anyway, so she said that they had a golf night and they played a little bit of, gothic rock and post-punk, and they played a little bit of the Rammstein stuff, and they played a little bit of whatever. But then when they got to the golf set, she said a bunch of normies decided to show up, and they decided to twerk while the Nosferatu song was playing. And I told her, please do not tell me, shh. And I told her, please don't tell me which Nosferatu song that was, because to me, Nosferatu is a very sacred band. I love them very, very much. And her and I were waffling about that over the phone. I said, how does one twerk to Nosferatu? Second wave.
Was it Graveyard Shift? Because how?
I told her not to tell me. I didn't want the image in my head.
Like actual twerking.
That's what she said. She said literally.
That's bizarre.
And I said, blasphemous. I said, I can't believe, that happened. So she said it was her and her friends, that the Goths and Alternatives, kind of started to bother them implicitly by taking over the dance floor and caused them to go away.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But by the time they buggered off, the Goth set was over and it was back to the originals. That was not very pleasant. Part of me just can't put birds in the bedroom.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really want to be part of the conversation, but their input is not necessarily as engaging.
See, Sparky's such a good boy.
Well, I mean, now he is. At this point, he's well into bed, so...
Oh, Sparky's sleeping?
Yeah, he's got an early bedtime. They're supposed to get like 12 hours of sleep.
Oh, I wish we could.
Yeah, I usually get like 5, so
me too. Me too. And then I coma on Saturday.
Yeah, sorry about that. As I was mentioning, I said to that friend of mine that if they were playing, say, Blutengel or, say, the Cruise Shadows, something very dark wave bordering on industrial, then I'd say, I get it. But twerking to Nosferatu, I cringe whenever I think of it.
Yeah, but there are other clubs I've heard of where what you guys refer to as the normies come in and they want to be like, oh, we're so goth, we're so scary. But they come in, they take the place over, they play their own music, and they'll either just kind of force the goths out or actually beat them up and get rid of them. And sometimes they spend so much money that the goths just leave their own goth night.
Yeah, if they spend a lot of money, the venue doesn't care.
That is, that's happened to a couple goth nights I know of.
Well, capitalism.
Yeah, and the bartenders will not, or the bar
say
staff
the C word.
will not, defend them?
No.
I don't know what the C word is. I know a lot of C words.
The political system that's, infesting the continent and much of the West, rather.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Fair. That is not even close to where I was going. Nope. I think of them as people who would drive a coal roller. And if you don't know what a coal roller is, that's a big fat truck that has an extra exhaust pipe to put out extra fucking dirty air. So
usually truck nuts.
Yep, they usually have truck nuts, and there's going to say something about guns on there. And if you walk in front of one, no matter what you look like that day, they will frequently honk because they think they're cool.
Yeah.
Those are the people we're talking about. They come into goth clubs. They decide it's really cool there because they found a great club that plays decent music, and then they force everybody out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's even more unfortunate. You find such scum at goth concerts as well.
Yes. Yeah, we're lucky in DFW. People are pretty cool because you see a lot of people call them hipsters. I would just call them
hipsters here.
Yeah, just people wearing like whatever their plaid shirt is, whatever, but they're at the concerts. They're at the concerts, the other fucking goths aren't there. So, but they're peaceful in DFW as far as my experience has gone. And I don't give a shit. If you're peaceful, come and enjoy and they're enjoying the music. So I'm cool with that. It's when things are not peaceful that I am not cool. And when goth nights are getting destroyed and or goths themselves are getting destroyed, I am very much not cool with that. But if it takes hipsters to keep the scene alive so that we can have some of our smaller shows that have 20 people at them, then I'm like, okay, the hipsters can come to Drab Majesty. That's cool. I know. That's
When
a
I saw
controversial band
Majesty-
now, but this was a while ago.
Actually, including myself, there were maybe 2 or 3 other bands in the venue. Literally, it was just 3 or 4 of us. And yeah, I actually had a very unfortunate event when I saw she passed away by one of those hipsters, whatever you wish to label them. And there was this man and his girlfriend. They were doing what I call a kangaroo and Joey position, meaning the person, usually the man, is standing right here and his girlfriend standing right in front of him, and she's much shorter. And he's protecting her, and he's getting in all, Superman mode, just offering his heterosexuality to the world, really. She passed away concert, and he started shoving people. He shoved me. He shoved my friend. He shoved my friend's husband. He shoved everyone in that area. And, I had to, I nearly fell, so I had to shove him back. And then that got stopped. But, adrenaline, burst out of me. I was so angry. I was looking at him, I want to say, mate, first of all, you don't belong here. Just looking at him up and down and thinking, you're not a goth, nor is your girlfriend that you're protective of, that probably nobody would want to touch anyways. And, what are you doing? Why are you being so violent at our show? Especially with goths, we're known to be violence. So why is he there just, being a twat? I didn't get it. It really ruined, that part of the beginning for me. But luckily, this is a small, part of the show. I distanced myself.
He was probably there because whoever that woman was kind of wanted to see that band, and he thought, I can get some. But people like that, when they shove me, I shove them back, and it will get close to violence. But for some reason, I'm saved by bouncers every time, right, when somebody comes back to punch me. Because I actually had that exact thing, almost that exact thing happen at a Beats Antique show, which is not goth. It's just those people are at every fucking show. And I was like, you fucking little weirdo. And yeah, the bouncer got him as he was like this and came up and grabbed him behind the neck because he kept shoving me. So I shoved the wrong person back, and then I realized what was happening because that poor 22-year-old kid was getting bounced into me, and I was like this. I'm the immovable object at some shows when I start getting pissed off. So I stopped shoving the kid, and I shoved this guy, and I finally shoved him because he kept coming back at me to where he fell over, and he got up to kill me, and the bouncer got him in a neck hold.
So this is actually a really good segue
into culture shock.
Into subculture shock.
Into the topic.
Into the topic. Because we have people who come in and they don't understand just how to behave in our spaces because it is different. It's not necessarily what someone would expect. So I'm
calm.
thinking
we're calm.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if we could just go around and all of you can tell everybody what it was like at the first, social event that you attended with goths, and if there was anything that you found particularly surprising or unexpected in the behavior, something that took you a long time to get accustomed to. Who wants to go first?
I vote for Deus Siculus. You've been awfully quiet, love.
That's fair. I usually am. So, as far as their behavior, so I started off with the New York City scene, and I've always been outside of proper cities, just like how I'm not actually here in Tampa. So it would be like a 45-minute train ride into Manhattan for me. I want to say that I didn't try to be social at the New York City scenes. I just found people pretty guarded, not very open to conversation when there's a single lone person that, especially early on, they would have perceived as, male, or as I started being a little more open about my identity, as a trans person back in 2001. So that was, or I guess more like 2003. So there was a lot of, not a lot of interaction with other people at the clubs. And I always But I came to really enjoy it because it could just be my excuse to like go there and dance and like let loose and just be myself and didn't give a shit about anyone else around me. Because once I had enough experiences of people not talking, I was like, all right, I'm just going to come here and I'm going to listen to some good music and I'm going to dance my ass off and like finally get a chance to express myself, as I couldn't be open at work at that time or anything else. And then like get on the drunk train home to Long Island at 2 or 3 in the morning. You know, and like be that meme of the goth kid like sleeping in the friggin' like luggage thing overhead on the train. Because, you know, that, I mean, not me personally, because I probably would have broke that shit, but like, you know, that was definitely a thing. It was always a little sketchy as well, because being alone out there, like walking through either the Lower East Side, where a lot of clubs were, like Pyramid Club, or out by Don Hills or Poussin Rouge, that was more on the west side of Manhattan. They're usually not in the best neighborhoods, clubs like that. So, and also they're usually in the basement of clubs for normies because they don't generate enough money. So like at the Pyramid Club, we'd literally just like get funneled down into this sweaty basement where it was packed while normal folk were up above us. And you'd have to like walk through that crowd on the way in and the way out, which was always a big part of like the shock or like intimidation factor, because they weren't necessarily as accepting. And it's a big part too of, I was a bit of a cyber goth at the time because I could wear the mask to hide my face and the big long like cyber falls as well.
I learned something today. Wow.
Yeah, because Vampire Freaks was busy on the Lower East Side, so there's a lot of that more like cyberpunky stuff, and you know, it was a good way for me to hide the fact that like I was assigned male at birth. So it was like a good way of like covering my face entirely and having more anonymity, which was also again really fun, like going on the trains with like a gas mask on, the fake hair, everything else, and like just completely trying to obscure who I was. So it was really about like finally getting that release and that escapism. And it's probably why even when I moved to Florida, I was going to the castle for 5 years and hadn't met Azzy or Mouse or anyone else there that whole time until one of the OU events that happened to be at the castle. And then I started...
first dungeon event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, that was definitely one of the first times being more social with others, and that was just awkward to me because, you know, at that point, like over a decade of experience of goth clubs, of just not interacting with other people at the clubs, just going there as an excuse to dance, and I didn't even drink back then, so literally just being a space filler.
There's nothing that you found like particularly like unusual, or just like something that took you a long time to get used to, or is it was just a lack of social interaction?
There'd be the lack of social interaction. I also found it unusual that there was that there's a lot of the fetish community there, even when it wasn't fetish nights, which I was like fine with, but I did find it strange to see some of it, or people both. Well, you have the senator in the castle. Definitely. Yeah.
Raging erection and all.
Oh, characters.
Yep.
People who are kind of characters that show up. Yep.
Characters. Yes.
Always.
So that's what we had in New York City as well, because we had a few people that were like into humiliation, and people like flat out asked me things like, "Are you a sissy?" Because there were some there that were like there with their dominatrix or whoever was in charge of them, and like it's just like nope. No, completely different. And like having to explain even what transgender was in like 2003 was a bit, you know, intimidating as well with complete strangers. But for me, a lot of it was the interaction with normies and like catching a few beatdowns or people thinking I wanted to like buy drugs and fucking like shoot up with them, and there's a lot of that going on, and coke in the bathrooms. And like I said, I didn't even drink at the time, so it was for me, that was always the more intimidating, like, how do I get out of that? Or people being very, like, being sexual predators. You know, so a lot of that had to be avoided as well. And that was the thing that made it difficult to go back, but I didn't have other people to listen to the music with. My virtual nightclub of choice at the time was Second Life. Yeah, and going on to that to go to goth clubs and that and listen to things, and I wanted to do it in person. So,
What was it that got you into the music at first, Dea?
So for me growing up, it was pretty common in what I would consider pop culture at the time. I first heard of Susie and the Banshees because of the Batman movie, like
Face to Face.
sounds. Yeah. So like that was fucking amazing, and I was like 10 years old at the time. So the same with The Crow. The Crow, I think I was 9 when it came out. So like by the time the soundtrack came out, and I'm listening to that in like middle school, and like I got to get rid of these stupid like Dilbert T-shirts and start like being cool and wearing goth shit.
You were Dilbert T-shirts.
So I definitely had at least one or two. Yeah, I had a lot of nerdy like whatever comic I was into. Like I fucking sported it. Like some Ava stuff, like some anime things, typical. Yeah, I don't know whether it was like literal comic strips or cartoons I was watching. I mean, I fucking still go to work. I have three Steven Universe dresses, so I still do it.
I love Steven
Your
Universe.
She-Ra dress.
I have an amazing amethyst wig.
I love it.
Yeah, it's made of four. It's made of several wigs.
Ooh, that would make sense. She's got a lot of hair.
Well, Della, sorry, I'm not saying that name right. Della Yazine or Yassine has a really interesting question. She asks, "Have any of y'all?" You have to give me a concept.
Y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all.
Canada.
Y'all.
Have any of y'all had any resistance from within the goth community or scene? There's questions for everyone in the video and in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been like challenged on certain things, whether it's other interests of mine or how I dress or my other musical interests. I feel like that's been the largest resistance, is because it's not like strictly within the genre and always like aesthetically appropriate for goth.
Yeah, I was in the back. I've entered the goth scene 3 separate times, y'all. So I have like 3 separate experiences. So back in the 80s, people were just fucking shitty to me. Just fucking shitty. And I guess they hated the fat people a lot back then. Because I would get the up and down when I'd ask somebody where they got something. They'd be like, it doesn't come in your side. I'd be like, eat shit. But it was one of those things where it was just completely different. So resistance, hell yeah. Because I was more likely to laugh. I wasn't as calculatingly jaded, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
In the mid-2000s, I would go to the goth clubs in jeans and whatever, like plain t-shirt, and I would just dance my ass off with my friend until the sweat was pouring off you, and you're like, okay, my skin has a white edge from all the salt I just got all over the place sweating. And people would actually make fun of me in the goth club. That's the church in Dallas. The first time was just like any goth I ran into just seemed to fucking hate me on sight. So I learned to hate goths when I was very young. I hated goths. If anyone called me a goth, I thought it was an insult. If somebody I found out they were a goth, I would not talk to them. I mean, I was just like, I thought goths were just the shittiest people on earth. So yeah, and I know this is different from some of y'all's experience, especially the way Azzy's like, what the fuck? So when I come back to this in 2015, 2016, it's not even the same fucking world. People have been 10 times as kind. I can't even believe it's the same shit. I can't believe I'm hearing the same fucking music in the club, y'all. Seriously, that was a real mindfuck. But now, when I walk through a club, because, I mean, this is way dressed down. This is not quite, but almost work look for me. I mean, when I go to a club, it's all, like everything's up. You wear the stuff you can't wear anywhere else and all that. And people would just watch me walk by. I actually asked my friend one time at Panopticon, I was like, will you please walk behind me and tell me if people are actually staring at me or if I'm having an anxiety problem? Because I'm in a club full of people I don't know, so I could be having some massive anxiety. And she was like, no, they're looking at you. And I'm like, why? But even though everybody seems to have their little cliques, still, we all hang out with our friends. I have discovered that in this later version, the 20 teens or whatever, if I walk up and talk to somebody or say something to somebody, they're generally going to be very cordial and very nice. It's completely different. People are not nearly the dickheads they have been the last 2 times in the scene. Because Dallas apparently has a lot of, the church is heavily fashion. People dress there and they do all that stuff. So if you go there without dressing, I'm like, bitch, I'm still buying booze and on the dance floor. I know all this music. I didn't know what it was at the time. Now I have a better chance. But yeah, so it's been completely different all 3 times of participating in the goth scene. It's just, and I've received resistance in a way all 3 times. Now people just look at me because you don't really see a lot of people dressing. They would stare at you too, Azzy, and possibly Malik. Yeah, Azzy, they would stare at you. They would be like, as you walk by with that look. Yeah, but it's not mean. I finally figured out it's not mean. They're just, well, interested. They're just
Curious.
interested in how you look. Yeah.
I think that curious is the response that I get a lot more lately, and which, fine, whatever, but I find that curious is also the response that I see a lot of my, assigned male at birth friends who happen to be wearing, like, skirts and shit at the time. That's more of the reaction that I'm seeing for them recently. Yes, I'm thinking about when we went to that fucking truck stop, whatever.
Talking about me?
Oh, yes. When you're out in the wild, I call it, that's what I call goth in the wild, is when a goth is outside of a goth scene.
In the wild.
Goth in the wild is a goth outside of a goth scene. I'm talking about goth gloves where I get that shit. Out in the wild, if I'm fully dressed up, I've been to a restaurant that was across the street from Trees, which is a place that has a lot of goth or industrial or whatever acts play there, and they couldn't handle themselves directly across the street from where the freaks are going to go see the shows. So in the real world, especially if I go with the full white, I call it the full white, because everything's white lipstick, white eyeliner, white eyeshadow, white mascara, everything. And then I wear some creepy ass contacts, and it makes me very happy to look that fucking dead and creepy. And even people who deal with weirdos in the weirdo area can't handle it. So
Malik and I went to Renfest, and we had someone track us down eventually to tell us they liked our hair.
I expect that at a Renfest. Renfest people are there dressing up.
80s hair. I'm like,
I like the 80s hair. How many times did we get that? Like 3 or 4?
We're not in the 80s anymore. I don't care.
I don't really think while your hair, there were people in the 80s that look like that. I don't think it looks like 80s hair. I look like 80s hair.
It's all epoch. Epoch.
What else?
So in Puerto Rico, I used to have a lot of bullshit, because people get shocked every time they see a male by birth, dressing up and using skirts and platform boots and dressing the way I used to dress, and then I kind of stopped doing that like when I was 19, and because a lot of people keep giving me bullshit every second, and then the scene just stopped. Like there was nothing going on. I remember when I started, I was really, really young. I was like around 16 years old, and there were 2 DJs mainly that used to do this dance goth nights, and they stopped doing it. They stopped doing it, and there was nowhere to go, So I stopped dressing up like that because I was like 24/7, like every day. I used to dress like this, right? Because I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable being like this, right? a lot of people give me shit about the way I looked and stuff like that. And then after couple of years back, I realized then I don't give a fuck about anybody.
Good.
I think I'm successful on what I do, and I don't have to ask anything for to anybody. And if they don't want to accept me the way I am, then fuck them. I don't care.
Right.
I
Well,
don't care.
that's
So
I learned that with age when I was younger. But I just want to say I've always liked a man in a skirt, and all genders. I mean a man in a skirt. Whatever gender you
yeah,
feel like you like is you, because only you can define your gender. I also like you in a skirt. I think skirts look great on everybody. It's my preferred, even though I don't wear them that much. But even when I was younger, I was like, why do men not wear skirts? I don't get it. I just don't. I've never gotten it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as a cishet woman, I'm like, man in a skirt. So
I think everyone should be allowed to use whatever the fuck they want. I
right,
just think that I think that people should be um independent enough to wear whatever the fuck they want, and not other people just have to accept them the way they are,
right. Well,
without judging, without calling them out, like that, like saying like, oh, you're this or that, and
right.
calling like stupid names on them.
I find the issue that people are extremely entitled. There's an English proverb. It goes, "What's one man's meat is the other man's poison."
Right.
And we don't all like the same things, and people seem to have forgotten that. People think that they've got the prerogative to just go ahead and be rude to people,
Yeah.
and ironically, they get offended when you're rude back or something. And I just don't understand
Yeah, they are.
ironic, way of thinking. I find it rather two-faced and hypocritical.
Agreed. But one of my favorite things is too when people are really looking at me when I'm out in the wild and people are looking at me, especially if you're getting like takeout or some shit and you're just all like fucking put on a bunch of makeup and shit because you felt like it. Because I do that sometimes. I'm not going anywhere special and I'm just like, well, I want my hair out of my face. The best way is up. So I'll go somewhere and
It's
when
me at
they're
the grocery
just
store.
right, yeah, that's and they're just like, and then I'll be insanely polite with perfect pronunciation. And then they don't know what to do and it kind of scares them. And I do it, I mean, I'm polite anyway. For those of y'all who've actually met me in person, I'm polite. But I do that to scare people because it throws them off. They don't know what to do with it. And I feel just a tiny bit rotten when I do it sometimes. But it's like if people are back there making fun of me, like it happened one time. I'm saying Rosa's in the kitchen, like a Mexican restaurant. I just stared at the one person who looked like they were the least mean until they got quieter and quieter and quieter and stopped participating and it ended. I just
See, I'll wear sunglasses because I notice that people tend to be less shitty when
yeah,
they don't know if you're looking at them.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But I will literally just look at them and barely blink.
Yeah, but I am overly polite when I'm dealing with people when I'm wearing a ton of makeup or looking a little weird.
Yeah, and it's fun because they don't know what to fucking do because apparently they expect you to open their mouth and whatever their version of a demon or Satan is, and then it doesn't come out.
I guess.
And they don't
People
know what
tend
to
to be
do.
people tend to be really like polite to me usually, but I think it's because I've been told I have a very sweet face.
You do?
You do.
Shut up.
But
You
Uh,
do.
I guess right now you're a sweet
they're
freak.
lying.
Thank you, Malik.
Wow. Yeah, you
Love
you also have resting bitch face. So
Oh,
I would
madly.
expect
I mean,
yeah.
both can be true. They're not
yeah,
mutually
Exactly,
exclusive.
exactly. But I would think it throws them off when you're. But I want to be exceedingly, painfully polite and perfectly proper. Sorry, I didn't mean for that alliteration there. But I want to be like that because it throws people off. Now I'm polite. I'm a please and thank you person all the time. It doesn't cost you
Same.
anything to be polite. Doesn't cost you anything to say please. Doesn't cost you anything to be appreciative of what other people do for you. It's very important to me. It's very important to me to appreciate other people, but I will take it up to almost like English low T level. Low T being when you sit down, high T is where you stand up. Low T level of fancy kind of language to where it just throws them off because they don't expect education, they don't expect politeness, they don't expect you to even be able to speak other than Satan.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was
I've
too
seen
loud.
that. I've never done anything to scare anybody because I only do everything I do because it pleased me. But
Right.
a lot of people, I've seen that people immediately think that I don't have a job,
Yes.
that I am uneducated and stuff like that. And whenever I go to a place and they're like surprised, like
Yeah, and
this alien knows how to speak.
if they
I'm
think
like,
you have a
yes.
job, they think that you're a hairdresser, a tattoo artist, or work in a record store. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a subject matter expert and escalation. I can give them my title and they don't even know what I'm talking about. And I've had people assume that I spend all my money on clothes. I'm like, this is like a $15 t-shirt that I trashed. And I got this is used and this is used and this is used and no man, that's not how it works.
Hail Santa.
A lot of people have the wrong idea that clothing are very expensive and unaffordable and stuff like that. I've seen comments of people saying like, goth is unaffordable, like all these prices and blah blah blah. I'm like, what type of goth are you looking at?
I buy the t-shirt to support the band. Now that t-shirts actually come to my size. When I was younger, they didn't, and I didn't have the money for it anyway. So I buy the t-shirt. I've bought the music and all that kind of stuff. So I don't wear regular t-shirts. I got to cut them up because I'm not going to wear a standard t-shirt because I feel gross when it has a collar and it's not all, this. Yeah. If I don't do some shit to my t-shirt. So I guess people mistake that it's expensive. And I'm like, well, it would be if I made one for you. But I just took like 1 to 20 hours on my shirt.
They're thinking of this company, their branded company. There are around and stuff like that. It's not even worth to mention. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong if you have a few dresses from them. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that don't think that those companies over there, whichever name they have, are considered goth company because they're not. They're after profit and they're gonna screw you until they get the best of you.
They're ripping off goth artists and individual clothing makers. They're ripping off street fashion. So when you see that stuff with street fashion, I kind of want my stuff to look just a little bit shitty. Because first of all, I like that post-apocalyptic look. I mean, if you've seen my clothes up close, you know that kind of has a post-apocalyptic look. But I also don't want it to be perfect because perfection is boring.
Perfection is boring and overrated and a waste of fucking time.
It absolutely, yes, all of those things. You are the wisest person. So I enjoy that sometimes I put too much crap on my shirts and I'm like, that's not, okay, it's fine. I'll just wear it anyway. Because then it becomes an old soft friend. And it reminds me of the band that I'm wearing. Like right now, Twin Tribes, I think I've seen them twice. Talked to them a couple times. Oh, this is stained.
I've seen them half a time.
Only half a time?
Only half a time.
I saw them where
I had to run to the castle.
Oh, right, you did.
They played at a show with Rose Garden Funeral Party and Garden of Mary. And the sad thing was that good thing, because Twin Tribes got them to play, got them back together. Twin Tribes plays with Garden of Mary, and people were so excited about Garden of Mary, which I think is a good kind of like shoegaze influence, kind of that goth feel, that dark part of Drab Majesty mixed with a little bit more goth. Anyway, so they got them to play. So Twin Tribes had fewer people than Garden of Mary, than the local bands. Wingtips was on the schedule before Rose Garden Funeral Party. So Rose Garden Funeral Party, the local band, was the headliner at the one I saw with them. And nobody knew who Wingtips was. It took them into the third song before people came up to the stage. And if you've seen them live, they're very fucking fantastic live.
They're very energetic.
Yeah, they add more to their shows than is what is on the album. Twin Tribes does too, but you know.
I think I have the first piece of merch they've ever signed, by
Twin
the way.
Tribes? I watched them.
Wingtips.
Oh, Twin Tribes, I watched them signing stuff when they were in Dallas, and I was like, I asked him before the show because I lined up right away because I want my size chunk shirt. And I want to make sure I get my size chunk. So you got to get there early if you want a 3X. And I asked him, I was like, people ask you to sign stuff? And I think they'd only had one person ask them to sign something before that. And there were like 10 people lined up to get him to sign stuff at the show I was at. So it was interesting.
I think we're going with Malik to smoke.
What?
Said I think we're going with Malik to smoke.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke.
Are you smoking
How do you
inside
know?
your apartment?
How do you know? No.
Because
No.
you're moving all over the place.
Yeah,
And you have a cigarette
there's
in
a
your
video.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you've got
I'm
your
gonna
phone
go
or
You
something.
outside.
know you're on camera, right?
Yeah, I know.
mouth. Okay. I was
Okay,
like, because you agreed
so-
to show up. But that's fine. I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't care. They're my
So-
people. They're my people over there. They can see me. All right, now I'm outside. I'm outside.
All right, now that you have your smoke, should we get back on topic?
Before we do that, actually,
Yes.
Malik, I just took notice of your T-shirt. That's my favorite album from Support Eternus and the Ensemble of Shadows. The English translation, I believe, is "The Vampire is Sucking at His Vein."
This?
Yes.
This?
Yeah, that's my
Oh,
favorite album
Ooh,
on CD.
thank you. Thank you.
Pain
That's
and
a-
Penance, or Penance and Pain. I'm not good at the titles.
Dead Souls all the way. But wow, that just you guys all stopped talking and I felt really awkward
It's
because
good.
suddenly I was the only one talking.
It's good that someone knows about this band because
Oh, I love
not a lot of people knows,
that.
sadly.
Just the one-woman band.
No, I'm not saying in here. I'm saying out there.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know.
saying here. I know most of us knows. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually think that they might be one of the bigger ones, in my opinion. But that's fine. It's fine. Who wants to go next and talk about getting into their scene and telling us how it was and all the unexpected things? Malik, you made the first noise.
Oh my God! Because when I was in the scene for the first time, I got a lot of hatred, like people calling me poser, and people calling me names, and you know, being rejected. But I learned that I had to earn these people respect first and foremost, instead of going into the scene and pretend that I you know belong there, and you know, just so everything went well after all. But yeah, starting, it was very hard. It was very hard. Nothing compared to what it is right now. A lot of people are more accepting nowadays, and that's very good. I think it is very positive. But yeah, it was very hard getting into the scene for the first time. I remember those days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that that's something that took me, excuse me, some time to get used to, was the fact that building a reputation in a goth setting is very different than like outside of a goth setting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just a club setting in general. I haven't tried to build a reputation in any other club scene. But it's definitely different because it doesn't really seem... I think Michelle just hurt herself, but that's fine. She'll be fine. It doesn't seem to matter, like, necessarily what you bring to the table initially. It seems to matter just how long you've been there.
What? I missed the good
when you're
stuff.
trying to... Oh, no, when you're building reputation in like, the goth scene, it's different.
For me, it's not like that. For me, whenever I see another goth and or someone that say they like it, it doesn't necessarily has to be a goth. Um, I basically want to ask them about music, but they don't have uh, if they don't have enough knowledge, it's hard for me to um, start a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So
Then why did you ever talk to me? Because I don't know the name of fucking any song out there. I don't know shit about death rock.
No.
You know that. No, you love me. You love me.
That's another story. Your grandma. So.
Oh Jesus fucking.
We all love you.
Oh, you guys are. I'm just old. That's all it is. I'm just old and. Wow.
We just love you. It doesn't. No. But I know you know about music. But for example, I saw a person very like gothy and shit, and when I went to ask them about music, they couldn't name a band. They just like Aesthetic Perfection or something like that. And I don't even know that band. Like I never. I've
heard of them. I'm just always looking for new suggestions. I figure somebody I don't know will know bands that I don't know, and there's new stuff always out there for me new to me, always out there to listen to. Because I'm currently on learning a little bit of 90s goth stuff, because that's my missing era.
I do know Aesthetic Perfection. I'm just joking.
Right. I know you do.
Just saying.
I mean, you probably saw them at Absolution.
Yeah.
Wait, did they play at Absolution?
Was it?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Was it
established 20? It was established.
No. But I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm saying that the person said something else completely out of the question, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like I don't understand. And they basically didn't know anything about that. A lot of people dress like us or pretend to look like us, and they listen to metal or they listen to another genre, and I mean that's fine as long as you respect us and you don't try to. For me, you don't try to be us, So
right.
That's for me. That's for me. It's not for everybody. Not everybody has to think like me. I think like that. I think that you don't have to pretend something that you're not, So.
But every goth group of friends that I've known, there's always somebody who's kind of like that, maybe borderline. Like I don't know. There's always a person in their genes who doesn't really look as goth. You see, and sometimes you see movies with goth people in there. That's because they existed. That little stereotype kind of trope-ette is there for a reason. But there's usually somebody who's a little less into the scene than everybody else in any group of friends. There's usually somebody whose musical taste is way outside of everybody else. You have a few things that are the same. I mean, if you're really going to accept
that with
people,
just groups of friends.
It's very diverse.
Absolutely. Yeah. In my other groups of friends, I don't know if you guys guessed this, I might be the token goth in my other groups of friends. Because I hang out with all sorts of people and I listen to all sorts of music, and I don't hide that. Like what I listen to, because sometimes I have to clean my brain from goth because I listen to a lot of new music. You DJs know this. And all of a sudden, every once in a while, you're just like, can't more, no. Especially if you listen to like 5 bad bands in a row or something like that looking for new stuff. I don't know if you go looking for the tags on Bandcamp or other places and you're just like, what is this shit?
But, and then you're sitting there like, I can't tell if this is good or if I've just heard enough of it or if this is bad and I just think it's good. Is this Stockholm Syndrome?
Right. So I brain cleanse, and I will brain cleanse with all sorts of different music. I really like glam rock is one of my favorite. Roxy Music or T-Rex. Really, David Bowie does a body good. I'll listen to Middle Eastern, generally Egyptian or Turkish Romani music. to clear out, whatever, because I also love that kind of music. I love Appalachian folk music. I love old Delta blues and stuff. I like a lot of different kinds of music. I do listen to mainly goth. I mean, not that that really fucking matters to anybody, but sometimes I get really interested in something, or I gotta cut it for a minute. And usually it's 2 or 3 days. Sometimes it's a week if it's really bad. And then I come back and I miss whatever it was I was listening to compulsively. I can't even remember what it is right now I'm listening to compulsively. What was that band? Say that band for me again, Malik. That beautiful woman
Aesthetic
band.
Perfection?
Reina?
Reina?
The one
Reina?
from Peru?
Yeah, the one from Peru. Coronado? I want to say Coronado.
La reina, la reina de los condenados.
De los condenados.
Queen of the Damned.
Sí. Yeah, I know what it means.
Maybe.
It's kind of if it doesn't exactly mean Queen of the Damned. I looked it up.
Yeah, that's what it means. That's exactly what it means.
But the words,
Queen of the Damned.
The words were different.
Yeah.
There was something different. I don't know what I found, but I know it's Queen of the Damned because when you look them up, Queen of the Damned comes up. It's obvious. But yeah, that's a good fucking band, y'all. Okay, does anyone have any questions? In a weird way, I kind of like that many non-goths are dressing similar. Well, medicine, when non-goths dress like goths, that means we can get more clothes we like. Less expensively, and sometimes better quality, because some of those expensive fucking brands. And where?
And then there's
the thrift stores.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially for those of us who are a little more large and in charge, the more popular it is, the more likely they are to make our size, and then people sell them to the thrift store.
I mean, I have one of our friends who dresses like corporate, and
I do that.
And if you ask him, he would name you like, I don't know, like the oldest goth band ever. You will be amazed.
Bauhaus?
Like, he knows so much. No, but he knows so much. I was talking to him, and I said like, oh, so I wanna make this cover about the night stalker, and I was thinking in my head that he didn't know anything about it, like. Right. I was totally, and he was like, I'm looking forward to it because I love Eva O, and I'm like, oh.
Well, you're probably used to people here not knowing your music very well.
Exactly. What?
I said you're probably used to people around you not knowing your music very well.
Yeah, I am. I am very used to mention bands to people that they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right. I have that sometimes.
I understand that. I don't judge, but I wasn't expecting him to know.
Right.
The super heroines, which I really like.
Well, yeah, I'm lucky. I have the OU people that tell me about all sorts of new music that I haven't heard of. Because I don't.
The super heroines are very old band.
Yeah, and I don't know them because I don't know old death rock very well. I don't know death rock very well. It turns out that I like it because I like a lot of punk-based music. So I like it a little bit more than I ever thought I did. Which is cool because I have people I can talk to. So, yeah, I have to say, for people in the goth scene, making friends with DJs, you will find all sorts of shit. And especially if you're like, well, I like this band. They're going to name like 7 bands that are similar. Hopefully don't sound exactly like them because I don't want that. But it's been very interesting, and it tells me that I don't know enough song titles, boy. Whoo! as an old school album listener.
As it better says, I haven't heard anyone mention super heroines in years. Well, that was me in a natural setting. Like I was
natural setting of being on.
I was talking to this person, and I said like I want to make this cover about this song, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the superheroines." I'm like, how do you know? Like, I was so surprised.
Were you excited?
Like,
I get so excited when somebody knows
I was
anyone what I'm
excited
talking about.
because he was telling me like all about the scene, like in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that, and I was like this is really nice, but he was looking like normal, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I don't care about that as long as you do know your shit, you know.
Right. Same.
And he knows it. He knows it. We're very friends. So Nathan, if you ever get to see this,
If you make it an hour and a half in with a bunch of fucking rambling. Yeah.
you know him, right, Asi?
I don't believe so.
Maybe you do. You
don't
just
know
don't remember.
Nathan. Nathan, the guy who always go with the long sleeve shirt, like he always go to our events.
What are you saying about long sleeves?
His blonde hair, long sleeves.
Oh, I think I know who
Like
you're talking
corporate,
about.
like
Yes.
corporate dressing. Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Oh, not
He
corporate
knows
goth, but just
lot.
regular
He
corporate.
knows a lot.
Yeah, but you know, there was a dude that would go to in the 2003 to 2006 when I went to the church. There was a guy that would show up, thinning hair, short sleeve corporate stuff, and that motherfucker would dance his ass off. He would dance circles around other people. Wouldn't talk to anybody. He'd just go and he'd start dancing. And he looked like he walked straight out of a used car sales lot. Respect, man. I had more respect for that guy than most people there. I had a friend, we went to something one time, and I was like, who is this? This sounds really familiar. And she's like, this is such and such. And it turned out I knew almost all of the music that was played that night. And I think I started not recollecting music not long after that.
Acid Bitter says, see, you need to ask him about how he looked in the 80s. Well, he told me he had spikes on his hair.
Liberty spikes?
And he used to do it like with glue and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me about that. But I have no idea. He might have some pictures, but I'm gonna need to ask him because I have no idea.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Back in the 80s, I knew so few people who had that extreme look. Everybody went to stuff, but, you know, there weren't that many people with the extreme look. People took photos of those guys.
All right, I'm going to get us back on topic.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about
Okay.
we're talking about our scenes.
No, we totally are. But I just wanted to get us back on topic because I think we have 2 or 3 people who we haven't hit yet. So, Adam, would you like to go? And I guess I'll just go fucking last. It's fine. I don't care.
Well, sorry, I forgot what your question is. You'll have to remind me. So many things. It's all so informative.
To be fair, this was like 60 minutes ago, but whatever. I asked what it was like getting into the scene, what your first night out, you know, in the scene was like, and then like at a club night, and then anything that you found really unexpected that took you a long time to get used to.
Right. Well, as you and I were just chatting earlier, and you're saying, oh, you're bragging. Well, the truth is I never found anything difficult about goths. Getting into the scene, there's actually a saying, a metaphysical one, it goes, your vibe attracts your tribe. And for me, it was more that sort of feeling. My culture shock came mainly online, you know, especially in the past, I want to say 3 years, after the whole goth without the music notion, you know, that came along.
Yeah.
And you know, the halls after halls, and you know, and some of those concerts are so mouthy. They really are. You know, I swear, you know, you get into conversations with them. Say, for example, on Angela Benedict's videos or on your videos, Michelle, or wherever. You know, they're so mouthy. You know, they think that they put on a costume that makes them goth. And I wasn't really involved in goth until the past couple of years of my life, maybe 2 years, I would say. But I was aware of it since 2006. You know, the first time I owned a Cure record was actually even before that. And I had a goth friend in secondary school who is into Christian Death and Sisters of Mercy and all the introductory stuff along with the Alien Sex Fiend. While at that time I proudly I live the hybrid life because I love both genres. Why not? But yeah, my culture shock came mainly online, and on Instagram it's complete rubbish to say the very least. And you find all these people, most of them ladies, hashtagging goth, gothic, goth and that goth, and sometimes that can be so ironic. I think to myself, well, if you're going to pose, at least do it the right way. At least just hold up a picture of Peter Murphy. Even if you're not a fan, at least just pose the right way.
That's when people call me an elitist, because I hate when people do stuff like that. I hate when people ask for bans, like without contributing to anything. I hate that. Don't do that. Don't ever go to anybody and ask for a ban. Just contribute first and say, here's what I like. What can you recommend me? You know, and then that's perfect. That's perfect. But don't go around asking for bans. I hate that.
1 second. Sorry, the door is knocking. Continue. I'll be back.
No, what I was saying is, like, and second of all, like, I hate when people think that.
Someone's knocking at the door, Malik.
Someone's knocking at the door.
That wasn't about me.
No. That's nothing about you. Nothing about you.
Bitch. I got called out.
No. You were not called out. Adam.
I'm completely agreeing with you, and I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, Adam is pretty much saying that I think because Adam is so kind, Adam has attracted people who are in kind. Wow, that, just pretend I said that better. Just please pretend I said that more articulately. Especially Dea, teacher.
Well,
Dea's like.
Yeah, and I also think that that when people think that it's only like about dressing up and stuff like that, they're completely wrong. I mean,
well, first of all, allow me to apologize. One person came knocking the door asking for where their relatives live. So sorry about that. But yeah, I actually got into this discussion. I mean, I've been into it, multiple times, but the last time I think was only maybe 4 or 5 days ago on the Count. What's his channel called? Cemetery Confessions. Someone left this comment insisting that Marilyn Manson is goth, because of his art, his look, his philosophy.
No, he totally capitalized on goth. He says so in his autobiography.
Of course he did.
Intentionally.
Totally. Absolutely. And I mean, it's not that I don't appreciate his older work, his music, but it just, I like to call an ace an ace and a spade. And goth has a certain sound. It's got certain subgenres. It doesn't mean that man is scum. It just means he doesn't fit under that genre.
Exactly.
And I tried to, exactly. And I tried to explain it. But I want to call this person a man because they had a very masculine energy, but I could be mistaken. So we'll just say they. And they, drove me up the wall, as they say. First, they said that Robert Smith is not goth, nor is The Cure, nor anything released by The Cure. Then they insisted Marilyn Manson is goth. And then they also insisted that Rosetta Stone was one of the first goth bands ever. And eventually I had to say, what drug are you on?
What a bizarre conversation.
Totally. In my mind, I was thinking, how thick could you get? I mean, you're being ironic, is what I want to say. The conversation's still there, so if you go to the Count's last video, you can read it and get a lot of it. And, to me, there's this lady, Michelle, I believe you might be friends with her, but I could be mistaken. Her name is Decia Denise. Her channel's called Gothic Soulflower.
Yes.
Lovely woman. Love her to bits. Just love that woman. And she made a video about this subject, I want to say 3 years ago. And she said something that was just so... what's that new word they use? On fleek. It was just so on fleek. And,
my lack of eyebrows are on fleek. Yes.
It's something like that. I don't know. I'm not really well versed with the slang, but she said that if you think elitists are bad now, can you picture those elitists on the music?
Yep.
And she said, when you look at people who say, in order to be goth, you have to be of a certain skin color, a certain body shape, a certain whatever.
Yes.
Your rebuttal against all that is the music, and not only that, a music-based subculture. That's how I was introduced back in 2006, as the adage goes.
Right.
Punks listen to punk, metalheads listen to metal, goths listen to goth. I add industrials listen to industrial, and the music's not going anywhere. So where does this notion come from that you could be goth, punk, a metalhead, a rivethead, Lord knows whatever, but you can't listen to the music that's associated with it?
Yeah,
to me,
bullshit.
it's like bullshit. Exactly.
Yeah.
The C word again. I blame the C word.
See.
It's absolutely.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. And it's funny, back then being a chunk was just as bad as having darker skin. You were just not. You were not. If people were like that. But I knew black goths from the earliest days. I just didn't realize I was hanging out with goths, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have always known black goths. I've always known Latin goths. I have always known goths of every skin color. I still say, if you want whiteface, wear fucking whiteface. I don't care what your skin color is underneath. It's all about it's all about the caricature of it. It's not about the I look like I've never been in the sun and I'm a perfect vampire visage. That's not what it's about. And if you think that's what it's about, you're selling us all short. But yes, back then, being a fat person was to some people. There are always some people who accept you. There always are. There are always exceptions, y'all. I'm not saying this is everybody. It's never everybody. Even though the word never is like the word always. But yeah, being fat, you were just excluded. You just couldn't be part of it. You were just a piece of shit. You were just garbage to be thrown away. So you could listen to the music pretty much by yourself and your other kind of outcast goth friends. Like my friend Doug would show up in his pearls and skirt, holding a clutch and wearing terrible makeup. And I just thought he was the best thing ever showing up at a party. And it wasn't a goth party. It was actually a psychic TV party of all things. So,
It's got a juicy one for all of you. Got a juicy one. I can't remember when I had this conversation, but Michelle, I believe I might have emailed it to you. I might be mistaken. There is this lady, I'm going to keep her identity anonymous. She doesn't even deserve to be named. And she decided to, attack me on a goth tuber's channel in the comments section once. And she said to me that I shouldn't, meaning being an elitist, I shouldn't be an elitist by saying, you can't be goth without music, because people are deaf and they can't hear the music. And
that tired argument.
That argument is for people who don't have a better argument. But you know what? Deaf people can actually feel bass and stuff like
how
that.
It is to be deaf.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I am close friends with a lady whose daughter, rest her soul, used to be deaf when she was alive, and they do sign music, American Sign Language. I've witnessed it in videos of it on YouTube. And they've signed classical music. They have signed songs by Lady Gaga. They have signed rap songs. So if they can sign, it's actually beautiful when you watch it.
Right.
So if they're able to sign all those different tracks, they can't sign a love song by The Cure.
But deaf people can still feel vibrations. They can still feel the music and not just the fucking drums. If you think that deaf people can only hear the drums, and people who are 100% absolutely deaf as a rock are not as common as people think. They think when they're deaf, they're completely deaf. So they might be able to hear some tones, not all. Some tones, they're going to be able to feel that bass. They're going to be able to feel that guitar.
They can feel it, yeah.
And they can feel that and read the lyrics, and you can absolutely be goth and understand. I know, most deaf people can read something, and blind deaf people, hello, Helen Keller, can also read and interpreted.
Oh, blind and
interpreted. Oh my God, y'all, I made up. I've been drinking. So interpreted. But you can still that thing in you that attracts you to the lyrics, that attracts you to because the bass in goth doesn't sound like other bass. If you listen to like experimental or jazz would sometimes be the closest to it because bass can become very popular, but rock and roll bass does not sound like goth. It is nowhere near as interesting. If you hear the bass done in almost any other kind of music, it is not the same. It is just not the same. And so there is absolutely a different feel, a different vibration. And combined with the music, your deaf friend, yes. Absolutely, I
It's
agree
just
with that.
an ableist argument. That's all it fucking is.
It's just for somebody who wants to look all goth and be accepted by the people that they think are cool and dark and fucking edgy, but they don't want to do the work.
Yes.
And that's sorry, y'all. That's just one of those things that, you know, I created that series Dark and Lazy for people who wanted. I mean, it's satirical. If you, I know I keep saying that, people don't really get it. It's satirical. People are like, oh, so it's also useful because that's how I am. But it's satirical for people who want that street cred of doing all their own shit, but they're too lazy to do it the right way.
I agree, but the whole thing is bloody ironic. How can you
Yes.
identify as something, but you don't want to be, you know, part of it, if that makes sense?
You don't want to do the history.
Yeah.
You don't want to do the work that it takes. Because to be part of a subculture, to really be part of it, any fucking subculture, I don't care what it is, it does take, it may not feel like work because you enjoy it so much, but it is work.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when Vampire Freaks used to be around, thank God that's gone. I remember I talked to this person once on a public, you know, message thing, and she said that she wishes someday she could evolve into a proper goth, whatever that is in her mind, rather than someone who listens to, I guess, alternative music. And me being someone who's evolved twice, once as a goth and once as a metalhead, I commented and I said, what's with the glamour of it being evolved? You know, what's the point? Music is bloody music. If you like the tunes, like the bands, you like the albums, you're it. You know, that's it.
And,
you know, what's the point of
and goths
the rest of it?
takes so much. Goths take so much shit. It's like many other lifestyles. So I'm like, why would you choose this if you don't truly love it? Because the amount of shit. I mean, how many of us have had people screaming at us across the street?
Yes.
How many have had people grabbing at us when we go places? I mean, how many have had terrible service because of the way we look, assumptions made because of the way we look? We don't look this way because we want to be seen. We look this way in spite of being seen. And that's what people need to understand. Yes. I find goth inspiring. I personally find it inspiring. Sorry, been drinking. But it's sometimes difficult for me. I don't refer to myself as a goth. I'm not like, hi, my name's Michelle. I'm a super fucking goth and I got a YouTube channel. How's it going, man? I don't even talk about that shit. I just do the shit I do. And if people are like, are you a gothic? Because someone asked me at work and they're like, oh. Then they went on to say they went through a gothic phase when they were listening to Marilyn Manson, and I corrected that motherfucker. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. That is a very nice person, but I corrected him. I just do that. I don't. It's at work. I don't give a shit if people really like me. I just care if they lie about liking me at work.
Well, I mean, the comment about being seen, like when I first, you know, started going to club nights, like I was largely ignored unless people had a really shitty comment to say, and I didn't do like a lot of makeup or hair or whatever the fuck. I did once have yarn falls though.
Interesting.
And then I tried. Yeah, I don't want to do that again. But I was starting to try to.
Yarn falls. You'll have to educate me.
Yarn, it's hair made of yarn, like Raggedy Ann hair.
Yeah, hair made of yarn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you hide, and you're very good at hiding in plain sight.
Thank you. That is a life skill.
Yes,
it is.
No, I started like wearing makeup and didn't really get a good response to that, like when I would go out to the clubs and shit, and then I was getting it from my husband, like, I don't like it when you wear makeup. And I was like, oh. And I got really self-conscious and I stopped wearing makeup and I stopped going to the club altogether because I just kept getting so much shit. And then I didn't start actually trying to socialize in goth again until I moved to Honolulu. And there were so few people there, and like, I was just like, well, I have no friends. I am living by myself, and I need to do something because I'm about to kill myself. And then I started going out again, and again, largely ignored, but then I started doing my hair and makeup, and then people started fucking seeing me, like, in the scene, and I was like, this is really fucking weird. Good for you.
Yeah, but
and
now,
my husband still doesn't care for when I wear makeup.
But now your makeup is out loud, because having met you in Germany, your makeup is different. You've obviously been working on it. It's obviously become, I think to me, obviously it's become art to you. And when it became
It
art,
is art.
when it became art, that's when it started really looking good. When it wasn't just a function of being goth, I should wear makeup, here's my black eyeshadow. When it becomes art, and when you see people, when they really, they just kind of open up and they become more attractive as human beings because there's something about that expression of absolutely doing it for yourself that is attractive to the right people. People who don't understand it or
this is now all for myself. Like, I don't listen to my husband anymore when he says shit.
Yeah, I cannot stop looking at your eye makeup today. I'm just like, yes. So I mean, I think with goth, you have to do it for yourself first. It's nice to go to the scene. It's nice to go to concerts. I fucking love live music beyond belief. It's nice to go to the goth scene and hang out with other goths and just feel a little bit free. Because quite honestly, dancing on the floor sadly by yourself with a bunch of other people who are doing the same is very freeing. It's very like, oh, here we all are. But you have to do it for yourself. Otherwise, it doesn't ring true. And when
this is so true.
When it rings true, I think that you're going to get as much negative as we all get, because we all do. When we're dressed up and we think we look great, there's a whole lot of people who don't think so because they're scared. Because they're scared of being that individual themselves, regardless of what the look would be. But when you're really doing it for yourself, you also realize that there's more people who will cross a room to tell you how great you look. They will cross a street sometimes to tell you how great you look because they're so inspired by how you look. And it's not how you look, it's how you feel when you look that way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that is why
I don't
you look
think I've
so
ever
good
had
right
people do that for me, like cross the
They
street
followed
across the
you
room.
to talk about your hair.
Yeah.
I remember once Asi and I were in Miami, and this person came up to us and said, "You know what? You're the greatest looking people around here." And we were like, "What?" What? It was really funny.
Malik, I only ever get comments when I'm hanging out with you because apparently I hide in plain sight.
It's because of how you feel when you're with other people. That's all it is. Because when you exude the confidence, no matter how you look, there's always as much negative. And I am never going to say you don't get negative when you dress goth. No matter how confident you are, you will. But when you feel positive, those people who like the way you look, and it's more than you usually think. I promise you. You got like 80% who give no shits. 10% are like, what the fuck is that? And then 10% are like, I just want to stare at you all day. And when you feel more confident, those people who like the way you look are more attracted to you personally and are more likely to tell you that. They just want to come up and say hello. They just want to be... They just feel overwhelmed. I've had a teenager, like a preteen, a 13-year-old, just like part through a crowd to tell me that he liked my hair. Who expects that shit? And I was eating ice cream at the time.
Well, also, it could be due to a connection. And I remember the very first time I saw you, Deus Equus, on live stream, I thought the same thing because you were wearing that beautiful headpiece and you had lots of purple. And one of my favorite albums is Evidence of Heaven by Faith and the Muse. That's why I commented that day about Ethereal Wave. I said, it's so Ethereal Wave. And, well, that's what, I love Faith and the Muse. I love Ethereal Wave. When I see, someone or something that reminds me of it, as that saying goes, your vibe attracts your tribe, you just naturally gravitate towards it. So, when people come to you and they talk to you, oftentimes it's a great feeling. One of my friends lives in Victoria, was mentioning, she approached me at the Pink Turns Blue concert. That's where our friendship started. And she liked my Demonia boots. I was wearing my Rosetta Stone t-shirt, so we were talking about that. And then she was showing me her patches. She had London After Midnight, she had Bauhaus, and she had I can't remember who. And we were just talking, and we liked very much the same bands. And, it was just kind of a love at first sight. It just...
Yes!
That's what
that happened to me.
Music brings people together. That's what it's about.
And it's funny, too, because the first OU event, the first Dungeon Night, rather, not the first event, was William Faith, wasn't it? Wasn't he?
Was.
Yeah.
It was the Pirate Twins. It was Scary Lady Sarah and William Faith.
Yeah, and they were DJing, so... just odd coincidence there.
Yeah. Well, I remember meeting Malik for the first time.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
Did
yes,
you
that
fall
effect.
in love with me?
Oh,
Me
I
or
love
Michelle?
you, baby.
who doesn't, Malik?
I was not impressed.
I love you because you. Wow, damn.
Love y'all.
Ooh, boy, there went that sweet demeanor. No, Malik, you have the same thing in you that I have in me. Like attracts like, baby. You know that.
What was your story, Asi? Go ahead.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just want to hear me talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I just want to hear you talk.
Well, I just you didn't really talk much, but I was talking to JoJo, and I just remember talking about Los Caniceros and being really fucking excited about it that someone else knew this band.
Who are them? Anyway, so yeah, I remember when I met a really good friend of mine that
Me?
I love dearly. No,
It
no,
must
it's
be
not.
me.
It's not you.
Is it me?
No, it's okay.
Must be Michelle then.
No, it's
I'm pretty sure you only have 3 friends. It's one of us.
3 whole friends? Are you sure?
Yeah, you're right. I only have 3 friends. That's right.
The
But
rest you
no,
have to pay.
no, Celeste. Celeste, it's a person I met online,
Yeah.
and when we met, I was really afraid to talk to her, like usual. I'm always like that. But when we started talking, she liked the same bands that I like. She had this beautiful Death Hawk, and we were just like in heaven. Like I fucking fell in love with that girl because until now, like we keep talking. Actually, I'm gonna call her after we finish this because it was perfect. It was perfect, and I understand what you're saying. Whenever you meet someone who likes the same stuff that you do,
Yep.
you have so much in common. I don't know.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting to meet
It
someone
is.
who likes the same stuff you do, and you can talk about things. And honestly, it's kind of rare. I mean, with goths, a lot of times, well, actually,
Sadly,
when we're out in public, somebody may look goth, but they're not goth. They don't know shit about the music, and they're like Marilyn Manson rules, and you're like, fucking A, again, here we go. But to me, somebody who actually likes the bands you like and is goth is rare, because in the goth scene, we have 40 years of music. Different people like different stuff.
Yeah.
And if they hate the Sisters or Christian Death or Bauhaus, you're like, oh shit, where do we
Then
start?
they're out of the club.
You're like, where do we start, man? Where do we start?
yeah.
Well, actually, that's one thing that drives me mad when people claim to be goth, but they don't even want to explore music. It's that so much of it sounds amazing. You know, Clan of Zymox, The Wake, Corpus Delecti, Support Eternus and the Ensemble of Shadows, and this can go on. I mean, it sounds beautiful. I still remember the very first time I listened to the song, forgive me, I'm not good at song titles, The Haunting by Nosferatu. I've got the album, Prince of Darkness.
Best album.
Amazing album.
Amazing album, I agree. And even though I couldn't remember the title of it, the pink one, let's call it that.
Yeah.
3 coffins, Prince of Darkness. And that song for me is really special because even though I don't really know what the song is actually about, but to me, it reminds me a lot of my maternal family. Just the description reminds me of people that my mother has spoken of. One of them is my grandmother, rest her soul. And I actually took those lyrics, the tears in my eyes, to my mother, and I read them to her once. And I said, I'm not going to tell you who this lyric or these lyrics remind me of, but just tell me if you're thinking of the same people. And I read her the lyrics, and she looked at me, her jaw dropped, and she said, that's our family story right there. And so that's why when my friend told me about the twerking incident, I just thought, no, please, I can't. I just can't imagine this. It's because that's how special and sacred they are to me, and I find that's what any genre, golf, punk, or whatever. That the reason it's not mainstream, you connect with it so deeply.
Yeah, it's like they lit your favorite sacred, something that's very sacred to you, shat on it and lit it on fire. Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
Twerking as a Congolese dance, that's where it kind of belongs. It belongs in its own sacred space because twerking is actually kind of, it's a little bit ritualistic from where its origins are. But in goth, it's not ritualistic. It's like badly humping. Mm-hmm. And somebody badly humping is like the dog taking a dump on your album cover. So I get that.
Insulting.
Yeah, it is insulting. I think that we get so excited when somebody likes the same music as us that we're all like, hey, yes. Hi, we have to be best friends now. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
I
get really excited.
I get that excited about artwork when people like an artist that I like. I scare most of them away because it's the same thing as when you talk goth music and somebody's like, oh, I like, and then they might say Bauhaus and you get excited because you think they know something. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
And they don't. Oh,
yeah,
no.
So disappointing. They're like, oh, yeah, I like that song. And they'll mention She's in Parties because I think that was their biggest hit, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, they released like a 9-minute single that actually made it to the charts. But yeah, okay, we'll go with She's in Parties.
Yeah. Oh, and I also like motionlessing.
White?
Oh. Damn! I thought it was going good.
It's Evanescence that pisses, because I can't stand Evanescence. It's like Tori Amos got me a little bit.
Cliche. That's a cliche nowadays.
Oh my god!
I like that they lead people to goth.
Always brings up Evanescence when she claims to be goth.
Yeah, I fucking hate the music, but I like that they lead people to goth. I feel the same about Marilyn Manson. So when I'm looking at people and I'm like, okay, do you get to be in this group? If they have Marilyn Manson or Evanescence, I'm like, okay, maybe they'll learn. We can kick them out later. But as much as I hate Evanescence, I do accept the fact that that is what I call a gateway drug to goth. And so is Marilyn Manson frequently to goth. I've met more goths that cut their teeth on Marilyn Manson. I'm more Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. That's where I cut my teeth as a young person. And I listened to Paranoid last week before, something like that. War Pigs, man, such a great song. But
then I play with madness.
Exactly. Alice Cooper is the same. There's all these acts that are gateways into goth, and people may or may not listen to goth after that, but I can't discount those acts as much as I fucking can't stand Evanescence, because it's like Tori Amos got sad, or I hate Tori Amos so much. But, I mean, not personally.
Which is part of why I was saying it felt like it was in popular culture when I was a kid, too. I mean, Alice Cooper was on the Muppet Show, so like...
Oh, Alice Cooper was popular when I was a kid, too, and biting the heads off of chicken and Black Sabbath and all that stuff. You know, cutting your teeth on some of that early metal, which was retro when I was a kid. I get it, and I feel like that can be a gateway to goth, so I'm not going to discount somebody who kind of finds their way to goth through that stuff. I think that's just fine by me, as long as you get there. I don't really give a shit how you get there.
But also, I know this has been brought up before, as a goth, you can listen to anything, literally.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Like whatever. So if you like some of those bands, that's fine. Believe it or not, I actually own most of Marilyn Manson's discography. You know, I gravitate, of course, towards the old stuff.
I believe it.
I totally believe it.
I believe it.
Yeah, we all believe it.
You know, I like the old stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is calling it what is not.
Exactly. You know,
that is what is wrong.
Exactly. Back in 2005. I mean, for me, he's a bit of a double whammy, as they say, because he gets put in the metal category as well, mistakenly. So I'm always correcting people, either he's not goth or he's not metal. So I'm always having to fight the two battles. But you know, but at the same time, yes, I've got his discography, but I've got albums Cure, I've got Suspiria, I've got Angels of Liberty, I've got Switchblade Symphony, I've got Paralyzed Age, Awake, she passed away. List can go on. It's fine. Listen to whatever you want to listen to. One singer I absolutely love listening to is a pop singer. Mind you, she is a little bit goth adjacent because she used to be part of the synth pop or synthwave band in the 80s called Yazoo, and her name is
Alison Moyet.
I fucking love that woman. I love her.
Contralto. Alison Moyet is a full-on contralto who does both full voce, sotto voce, and ethereal. Just saying.
Yeah. She's amazing. And actually, she wrote a song called Goodbye 70s when she was still with Yazoo, and Suspiria covered that song back in the 90s, and they did just as great. So, you can listen to whatever you want, but if you're going to call yourself a goth, you can't just, talk the talk, you have to walk the walk as well.
Exactly. I listen to, one of my favorite acts that I listen to, there's a couple that, I should be embarrassed, I shouldn't even tell you, I fucking love Sonny and Cher. I love Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, I've seen Cher live.
I like Cher as a person.
And I like Cher's solo acts. I don't like so much. I like the stuff that's not socially acceptable. So I don't listen to it. But Cher as a person, I love and adore. And then I like at work when I really start freaking out, I'll listen to Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. It's the only album of theirs I truly love. That album is absolutely brilliant. Not even goth related in any way, shape, or form. But
that said, though, do you remember Gypsy 83, the movie?
I love that movie.
I love that movie.
So that always cracked me up when it was like her, Stevie Nicks, as the godmother of goth, and I was just like, what the fuck? And that's literally what got me to listen to Fleetwood Mac, because I was so confused by that.
That movie made me cry the first time I watched it. It was I love it.
Rose McDowell of Strawberry Switchblade. I have a friend who really loves Acid Bitter says another 80s pop singer I love is Rose McDowell of Strawberry Switchblade. She went on to do brilliant stuff with current 93. I'll have to listen to that. Death in June and Coil. Yeah, I have a friend who is fucking loves Strawberry Switchblade. I just am discovering some 90s goth. Specifically, I just bought Faith in the Muse, my second Faith in the Muse, and Switchblade Symphony, which I love. And it's funny, I was trying to figure out, because we were talking about goth, the more feminine side of goth vocals, and still trying to figure out a way to take the gender out of describing those vocals. But there's the more ethereal side and the more belting side. And, with somebody's vocal range, that's where belting is comfortable. That's your vocal range. And so I was listening to this and I was like, okay, if you're thinking Switchblade Symphony, yes, you're thinking mezzo-soprano belting. Mezzo-soprano belting. And really in goth music, I don't know that anyone does it better. There are a lot of people that do it bad as well. But there's a lot of ethereal, and ethereal is the style, not the vocal range. So,
exactly.
So Switchblade Symphony has one or two that are more ethereal sounding.
Yeah, but for the most part, they are more in the dark wave category due to the electronics and that stuff.
Yeah.
But one ethereal wave band that I really love, and they're from America, they're not around anymore. They were called Faith and Disease. Some of you may have heard of them. And they're amazing. They're one of those bands that when I discovered them, I had to order the album right away. But sadly they disbanded. No longer around.
Yeah, when I think ethereal, I generally think Exmal Deutschland, The Shroud, Faith in the Muse. I mean, there's some fucking famous ethereal kind of vocals out there. But it's a style.
Exmal Deutschland, it's a post-punk band.
I was thinking.
I agree with that, but they're called ethereal wave all the time, and maybe it's just the vocals a little bit. But the vocals, it's a softer singing style. Yeah, no, they're not ethereal wave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call them ethereal wave. I don't think they're ethereal wave.
Acid Bitter said he too loves.
But the vocals, I get what you're saying.
Oh no, you have two people who love that. Khalid Horace Makalani, Faith in the Disease were great. So now I feel like I have to go listen to them. Oh, Cocteau Twins. Yes, I love the Cocteau Twins. I've loved the Cocteau Twins for like 1,000 years because that is how old I am. And it never would have occurred to me to think they were goth or not goth when I was younger. But now I'm like, oh boy, They're one of those bands that kind of falls under the umbrella but doesn't sound specifically one genre. But Liz Fraser's voice, I mean,
It's like Sad Lovers and Jajans. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
There's
like
actually one post-punk band from Italy that I really want to get into more. And as you're familiar with them, they're called Hapax.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Undead.
I thought they were
actually
popular.
Pardon me?
I thought they were popular. I guess I think a lot of bands are popular that maybe aren't because they're popular with me.
I think they're popular. But then again, my bar for popular is really weird.
I think that my mark for popular is similar to yours because popular amongst goths who like newer music is what I think of as popular. I mean, there's the obvious Sisters of Mercy. If you're going to get copyright struck, that's not the shit I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And the Shroud is another ethereal band I was thinking of.
Speaking about copyrights, that's why I don't spin a lot of the music out there, because basically a lot of them, they have copyright, so I tend to spin more of the undergrounds. So
Well, and some bands that you don't think are going to have copyright strikes will. Like I had a copyright strike from Sweet Ermengarde on my other channel when it was monetized. So that's one reason my channel's not monetized, is so that I can kind of get away with playing whatever I want to. Because I generally don't play a whole song. I play chunks to introduce
I would
people
not
to music.
expect Sweet
So
Me either.
Daniel from
And I asked.
Glass Apple Bonsai got flagged for copyright playing his own song as he's been doing track breakdowns all week. And because he's like trying to give tips for like how to, make music, how to mix and all this other stuff. And he's playing sections of it and his video got shut down. It was so fun.
I think it depends on who you
I'd
do
be
your
mad.
distro, sir. I
Yeah.
think Baby
It's
does
the
a lot
labels.
of copyright
No,
strikes.
Well, it's weird
It's
because
the
he's been
labels.
going through one album from start to finish, and it would happen some nights and not others. So I don't
Okay, that's
know if
weird.
it was a
Sweet
popular
Ermengarde was the
singles
label.
or because he played more of it at once, but I don't know.
Y'all, I have a video with a shit ton of Clan of Zymox cuts, and there's nothing on it because my channel's not monetized. And that's one reason it's not monetized, because I'm like, fuck all y'alls with YouTubes. This shit is free right now. Just, my little stance against the man. Motherfucker. But I don't have that problem since I'm not monetized, because if you want your channel to get fucked up by YouTube, monetize it. If you have a YouTube channel and you're trying to decide monetize or not, my suggestion is no. Because it will put you on a different algorithm and it will fuck your shit up. You will lose your notifications, the people who want those notifications. Well, I've had that happen anyway without being monetized, but just I have a little soapbox. But I would think that honestly that bands, especially lesser known bands, would appreciate the exposure of my 15-second clips, because I never play a full song. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played one full song except at the end of a video.
It might be because of those channels that basically just download the Name Your Price shit on YouTube or on Bandcamp and then upload it to YouTube and have their channels monetized. I see that shit way too often.
People do that. Okay. I don't think that way, so it's hard for me to conceive of doing something like that. I just want people to hear the music, support the artists, and so they can tour more, and I get to see them live. I mean, it's selfish, kind of. Ultimately, I want to see everybody live, because I fucking love live music. I almost like jazz live, free jazz, which I despise.
I've actually been at 40 concerts in this lifetime.
That's it? Child's Play. No, I'm kidding. That's a lot.
You've probably been to 60.
I doubt it, but
No.
I've been local bands counted. I used to go out like 2 or 3 nights a week when I was in college to see live music. Because I went to a college that in University of North Texas is a giant school of music. Used to be. I don't know if it still is. No, wait a minute. People are talking bands that I haven't heard of. Hello. Okay, we like Hapax. Oh, that's just about ethereal. It's a disservice to underground bands because they have a hard enough time getting exposure. Right. So with underground bands,
channel.
what?
Sorry, it's a pet peeve. Sub to their channels. Like you'll see like other like those channels that just re-upload songs and they have like 76,000 followers, and then you go to like the actual band's channel and they have 6.
Oh my god, y'all, I have a couple of bands that I have subscribed to their YouTube that have under 100 subscribers. And so I share their shit on Instagram, I share it on my Facebook. And the best I can do is share stuff. I think on my skullgirdle page I have like 700 whole people following it. So I'm like, okay, 700 people, you're getting an album that I've already posted 4 times. I don't care. And I do it on my regular Facebook, which is like not even that much.
Well,
so
I think that what helps bands with that is doing lyric videos. Like just do a fucking lyric video and like get it up on your channel. Get it someplace
I wish they would.
Where people can get it directly from you.
I wish they would, especially when there's lyrics that I can't understand, because I have tinnitus. So sometimes if they don't bring the vocals far enough forward in the mix, I can't understand. Like some of my favorite bands, I can't understand
with, like,
the lyrics.
All the reverb that bands put on their vocals now.
Which one? The reverb. Yeah. There's several bands, and sometimes when I go listen on Bandcamp, I'm just like trolling for new goth shit. I'm like post-punk, gothic rock, dark wave. What do we got? And I will hear somebody, and their vocals are so far back in their mix that I'm like, you might as well not have vocals.
So far back and so reverb that you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and when the reverb happens, sometimes I can't figure out the vocals, and when they don't have lyrics, I'm fucked. I have severe tinnitus, so certain sounds I will just kind of like digitize my hearing, I guess. So I want to see more lyrics from bands because I want to understand the lyrics that are happening. And yes, I listen to bands where I don't know the lyrics. I listen to some Spanish music and some Portuguese music and all sorts of stuff that I have no fucking idea what they're saying because I need to see the lyrics to understand it because I don't speak the language or I don't fully speak the language or I'm such a fucking toddler with it that I can pick out like a and the, nice, bad, hello. I've learned the word for death in everything, muerte, mort. So I'm good there, but I'm with you, Azzy. I'd like to see more lyrics videos. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a really good
It's like
idea.
me listening to Marie Davidson earlier because she sings in French, and I understood the title, and that was it. And then everything else is just
right. Yeah. Well, you can translate the title. You're like, yay! I can translate.
Well, no,
the title.
I mean the particular title is just obvious. It's Ado Dance Floor, so like I know the guy in French.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
It's
obvious.
That was easy enough.
No, listening to so much Spanish music, I've picked up the word for coffin and dreams and death.
Oh yeah. The hard part is when it's an idea from the culture. When it's like an idea.
Yeah, because then it's not a literal translation.
Well, that's actually how I learned what susto is as a cultural disease.
Right, talking to still patient Zeitgeist, Weltschmerz. And it wasn't Zeitgeist. We know what that means. It's Weltschmerz. It's a very German word about just the state of things today. So same thing with fado, with Portuguese. Fado is a certain thing, and it's specific to Portugal. So, it's kind of like when we can see the lyrics, sometimes we can kind of at least look it up if we're like, what the fuck is that? But sometimes the translation is completely lost. If there's no lyrics at all, like on Bandcamp, I always look for the lyrics because I want to read them. And it's hit or miss. Yeah. Very hit or miss.
Yeah, same.
It's
sad.
I get it's a drag to upload them. But I want them.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of the music I listen to, like, if I went to Panopticon and I was like, can you play Cruz de Navajas? They'd be like, who? How about we play Send Me an Angel? I don't know that they wouldn't know who that was, but I don't think that it would be popular enough for them to play it.
Cruz de Navajas. Okay.
Sí, bueno.
I just remember Malik pronouncing that on one of your videos. Michelle?
Cruz de Navajas.
Cruz
de
de Navaja.
Navajas.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many bands that are very, very good in Spanish.
Yeah. But they're not. I think they get more play in the LA scene, but they're just not. And Dallas, there's no reason for them to not get play here, y'all. We have a large Spanish-speaking population.
We play a lot of Spanish music.
Yeah, they don't play very much here that I've ever seen. That doesn't mean they don't play it. It just means that I haven't seen it yet. So next time I'm planning to go to a goth night, which my last plans got foiled by, I don't know, a pandemic. Next time I plan to go to a goth night.
Oh, which pandemic?
The Black Plague, I think. I'm not really sure. Maybe
Okay.
SARS. Oh, actually, it is a SARS. It is a SARS. Sorry. And by the way,
I thought that was just a very, very aware joke.
Is it almost pumpkin time? Are you tired?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, I'm like 10 o'clock is a good cutoff for me too, because I, of course, have things
Oh,
I
to
agree.
do always.
15.
Well, yeah, you're in another time zone, but I was just figuring because
Oh.
last week it was about 11 for us.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
11 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I forget.
Here.
It's 11, but I don't work tomorrow, so
It's
you guys
8
do
for
what you want
Adam.
over here.
So Adam had to get on very
What?
early at like 5. Wait, you don't?
Oh, heck,
Did you
that
say you don't
question
work
went into
tomorrow,
a
Azzy?
fucking video thing.
No,
it's Good Friday.
and we got off because it's a day of great religious significance.
It's a good.
Yeah.
I just
What?
took a day. My boss
I got
recommended
off
I
for
take
it
a day
too, so I
off
could
because.
stay up later.
Holy shit! Okay, so I have
I
tomorrow
wanna,
just because
I wanna
took
get
off. I had no
off
idea.
too.
Yeah, I know you. Want to get
We know
off
you
now.
want to get off.
Oh, yeah.
Right, right.
Wait. I want to get time off
Uh-huh.
from work.
Well, y'all,
You got everybody's like crazy right now. Oh my god.
Because
For
it's
those of
pumpkin
us-
hour.
Yeah, for those of us working at
Or
home,
for me, it's
people have
like
been
stay
crazier.
up talking to gay girls hour until like 2
All
in the
right.
morning.
Right. It's like right
No,
now.
but I work with Muslims, so they're not Christians
Ramadan.
like your boss.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, we don't have
my
Good Friday
elected
off. I just
official
it's
who runs the
accidental.
office is
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just a weird time right now because we have so many people who are out of work, and those of us who can work at home, who especially easily transition into working at home, it's like insane work. I'm working like 10, 12 hours a day every single day. I'm terrified that I have a day off tomorrow, but my boss was like, "You need to take a day off." I was like, "You're right." And then Vegetae, as far as I understand it, it's not 100% official, has been canceled, not 100% official. So I'm like, okay, well, I have 8 vacation days that are suddenly flooding my vacation day land. Well, now what? So it's just insane. It's either people don't have work and they're at home trying to not go crazy, or people are at work and they're working insane hours and it's nuts. We have like no in between in our society right now because of the COVID.
I feel like I am the in between. They're not giving us really extra hours as teachers. It just might, we always work a lot anyway. So
Right. When you're on, you're on. When you're a teacher, you're on, you're on.
Yeah.
Every time I
Yeah.
see someone say teachers get the summer off, I'm like, they fucking earn that shit.
yeah, I do.
And you don't get paid for your summer hours anyway because I've worked for a school district and know how that works. But yeah, we're just in crazy times. Everything is like out of balance. This particular show, just so y'all know, we're trying to make this a standard show, like every week, right, Azzy?
Yeah.
As many suckers as we can get on here to talk about shit, whatever we come up with, that's what we're gonna do.
Which is usually last minute.
And it's been last minute.
Okay, so was it just me like asking last minute?
No, Dave,
No.
because both Azzy and I, our jobs have gone insane.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
So
No,
yeah.
it's all right. I like last week. I found out when the notification went up. I was like, "Oh shit! I was supposed to do something right now." So yeah, because I don't know what day it is.
We will get to the point where we're not flying by the seat of our pants for those who
Will
are
we?
watching. Yes, I have a plan.
Okay.
We'll see if we implement the plan, but I have one. It doesn't necessarily matter. And then
I
of
plan
course,
things all the time.
I know I love to plan shit, but the implementing,
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Yeah, we have other ideas as well of collaborative things that we'll do. But yeah, we're pretty fly by the seat of the pants, and I think we'll have a little bit more planned in the future. The live stream will always probably be kind of like this. People talking about a bunch of shit, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, I think what it is people don't really care if you've got a particular subject. I mean, as long as we're awful, they're happy listening to us.
Right. As long as we have, I think personally, as long as we have people with different opinions on here and different backgrounds, then I think we're good.
And news stories.
And what?
Yeah,
News?
I think what we should do is we should ask people what would they like to hear next. What would they?
But then we can't control it as much.
Or we ask and then do.
Oh, we can pick and choose.
That's true.
Right. Yeah, we can ask people what they want to hear about. We're just trying to talk about honestly. If you've noticed, we've been talking about some pretty controversial. Today is the least controversial topic we talked about. Because sometimes people can't talk about controversial topics without freaking the fuck out on each other and just starting to insult. And you can have a rational discussion where you disagree and don't insult anybody. And last week was a great example of it because I had a different opinion from everybody several times and nobody insulted me. Now I drank a lot.
Yeah, and I had a different opinion than can be matched.
Right. There were times where Adea and I were in solidarity and everybody else was like, what the fuck, man? And then there were times where we were just, different opinions. So we're trying to create a place where you can have a different opinion. We're not going to have any fucking Nazis, just so you know. No crazy right-winger Nazis.
Thank you.
Nuts.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to call that negativity in my life. I'll have to call it sentismo de muerte. And you know what I mean, Malik. I don't want to have to do that.
Oh, we got some things coming in, too.
Last week, Angel says, how did golf influence other things in your life, chat? Meaning that that could be a future.
Perfect.
How did golf influence other things in your life?
Will you start, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh.
Her name is...
the politics and goth one, too.
Yeah. Politics.
If I can find it.
Politics, capitalism.
The economics.
Good one. Blimey, where is it?
Whether or not, goth is inherently a middle-class subculture, that sort of shit.
Well,
it is a working class subculture, so shut up.
Just how does goth impact your life? So that could be maybe, for example, your home decor, your religious philosophy, the kind of people you associate with, or, just how does goth impact your life? Have you maybe lost friends because of it? I know I have.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I have.
But I've also discovered the friends who truly love me because even though they don't express whatever goth stuff, they're happy to see, the weirder I get, the happier they are to see me just fucking go crazy with it. Yeah. So I didn't go crazy with when I was younger. I do now. And now I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. You know who your real friends are, I think. When the more, if you're extreme, and apparently it turns out I'm extreme. I don't feel extreme. I'm the least extreme person on this stream right now. But when you have the more extreme look and you do that kind of stuff, okay, fine, it's you, Dea.
Really?
Well, I mean, you just look normal to me, so you look cute.
Oh, it was about looks. Got it.
You look cute.
Oh,
no,
it's
when I say
about
extreme,
that.
when I say extreme, it's just looks. When I talk about extreme, I just mean looks because.
Oh, I thought you meant political views.
No, because I don't. I don't think that that's necessarily goth. I think that a lot of goths tend towards more extreme political views. I personally have extreme leftist views, but I don't think that that's just goth. So I don't really count that. Well, most of us are like that, and most of us are smart enough to not tolerate fucking Nazis. I don't think that that's necessarily 100% goth that you have to be leftist. We just generally kind of are.
No. Sadly, we are not. We're not united in that.
Yeah, right-wing goths freak me out. I don't know what to do with that because it's like the opposite of acceptance, and goth now has so much acceptance in it. But when I say extreme, I mean looks only. I'm talking looks only, so that when you look like a fucking freak or you look like a weirdo out in public, I've noticed that because so many people are. I mean, they're freaked out by your looks. I mean, let's be honest. They're totally freaked out by your looks when you look extreme, when you look different. And I think all of us have experienced that in the same and in different ways.
Oh, trust me, people get freaked out by my looks, but
right.
Yeah.
You just
reactions can be such music.
All y'all to me, you just look like people. You may have a different look than your average person, but you just look like people. You don't. Being a true weirdo is not about anything about how you look. It's about how you fucking act. And real life weirdos are actually fucking creepy.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I consider myself a weirdo, but the weirdos like other people think we're weirdos, those people are like fucking Silence of the Lambs shit or something like that. We just look different. Okay, we think different. Okay, fine. There's that too. And we like different stuff. And people put this weird stigma on us for no reason. Even inside the goth club, when you have a little bit more extreme look, you're not just wearing like a tank dress with your long, perfect goth hair and your Instagram makeup. People still fucking stare at you. But I like the weirdos.
I hate the goth makeup that is just a Halloween version of like the Instagram. This is what's in makeup.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Or the crow.
With more pale powder.
I was gonna say the crow
big fan of that one.
Oh, the crow. Yeah. I hate Jake Munro's makeup because he looks like fucking the Joker. He looks like the Joker's having a good time with his makeup. Jake Munro. That guy looks like the fucking Joker. He looks like a cartoon to me.
I agree. Yeah,
and I feel like he's capitalizing and making fun of us with that makeup, and that's why it pisses me. Not because he looks like that.
Actually, I want to shed some light on a really good goth YouTuber. She's quite young. Well, I should say they. I mean, sorry if not familiar with the pronoun. They are called Heartless Harpy. And they're about, I want to say maybe 18.
Oh, yeah.
Heartless Harpy. And they decided to make a video in response to Jake Munro just, correcting his errors, which there are too many to correct if you ask me, and just talking about how he calls his younger fans, I forgot what he calls them, meat ribs, something. Pardon me, something like that.
Wait, he calls them what?
Snacks. Snacks.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about the loudness. That is dehumanizing.
Well, maybe I'm oblivious. I don't know. What does it mean to call someone a snack?
I would think that
I thought that they're sexually attractive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Sexually attractive, but you don't take them seriously like a person. That is. I agree, Acid Bitter. As he is makeup goals tonight, that snack thing is offensive. I don't care what it is. It's just offensive.
She talked about that in her video, but guess what happened? A lot of his subscribers, not some tweens, 15, 14-year-old, young, excited, idiots, what I would call them, they went onto her videos and started spamming, called her every word in the book. And, so she had to disable comments for a little while. And she's on Instagram, so... so I just thought it was really heartbreaking that, and she also got this other thing that they say that I don't quite understand when they say, "Who are you to say who's goth and who isn't?"
Well, listen to the fucking music that's actually goth. I'm telling you, who can say who's goth and who isn't? It's the people who participate in the subculture, support the fucking music, and do all the things that create the subculture as its own. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, just Harpy.
Oh wait, it's snack with 2 C's?
Yes,
oh my god!
Thick.
Well, thick to me is kind of I like thick because thick.
Yeah,
people,
I like them both.
Thick people are nice. There's lots of cushion for the pushing and things to hold on to. Nice. Not a lot of square footage to worship there, but I have a problem with that snack. It's like thought. To me, thought is kind of offensive.
Yeah, I find that. Yeah.
Also, there's another one.
Teeth.
I'm especially not going to mention any names because, I do have respect for this person, but, so I'm not really happy with this decision they're going to do. They're going to give their bathroom a $7,000 American renovation to give a gothic facelift. Oh. And when I found out about that, I just thought, that's just sending the wrong message. Just going to the parents and saying, "Oh, can we get a gothic bathroom?" I mean, to spend $7,000 bloody American dollars to give your loo a facelift to make it look like, I don't know, something that even Susie Sue herself probably doesn't have even imagined.
Yeah.
I thought that, pushed it a bit too far. 7,000 American. Do you know how many bands that could have helped, especially during this time?
Right. Well, I say that as a person who has a goth bed.
In your backyard.
What?
Has a goth one?
Oh, I was just saying, if you're gonna spend that much money, put a graveyard in your backyard.
Right. Fucking hire the Mission for $7,000. Oh, I don't know if they play for that, but hire them in your backyard. It'll write you a song or some shit like that. Right. I do have one expensive piece of goth furniture, so I can't really talk, but I painted the room myself, and that's the only expensive goth furniture I have.
Michelle, love, you can't you support the subculture. This one, I would say, kind of did in the past, whereas lately, they have also been dabbling a bit in the capitalist aspect, as sorry, I said the C word again, but, I do have respect for this person, but I just feel, as ITAC once said, or Elitist Joe, he is goth, but he needs a slap across the head, and that's exactly what I think that this person, I was actually happy to see his gothic making series go, because I thought it was gothic, but now he's bringing back the bloody thing, and he's spending $7,000 on his loo, and I'm thinking, the hell, mate, you could have supported so many bands with that.
Well, and right now is a very bad time to announce spending that kind of cash on something that's just like an object, pretty much, on making something pretty. When we have artists who are suffering, artists who, even if they're not making their living on goth music, I mean, how many people have jobs where they can't be at their job site now, so they don't have any money, and they're hoping to make a little bit off of their music or whatever? I'm just like, oh, that's a little bit painful, because the whole world is mail ordering now. Don't mail order, not if you're going to make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, if I had that kind of cash, I would have donated it to Obscura Undead to just grow the channel, grow the project. That's what I would have done. Right. So, and that person doesn't even own the bloody flat. They're renting it. So the only person that's benefiting from this.
Yeah, but if it's New York, people move into their flats and they stay there forever.
Oh yeah.
It's so hard to find housing there.
It's ironic, because that person on Instagram posted not long ago that they may have to move their lair, as they call it. That they may have to. And so I'm already thinking to myself, you don't own the place, that's number one, so the rental company is getting all the benefit. Yep. And on top of that, you might have to move it, and you're spending 7,000 American.
Right. And when it's popular, especially the rental company is really going to benefit, because that shit is popular right now. Because people are copying that shit right now. Yeah, because they're like, oh, look, I'm in my goth phase. No, you're not, motherfucker. You're sad, and you're wearing black, and you're blaming it on us. So to just do a $7,000 update, to me, I'm like, there better be fucking plumbing involved with that.
There is, actually. I don't know the whole details or the whole minutiae behind it, but that person did say that a man came, and even the man was asking, why are you spending that much on a bathroom in a place you don't even own? And they said, well, make them happy. Which, like I said, I respect this person. I just think that during this time, and it's also sending the wrong message to the baby bats. I was talking about my friend. I was telling them, or her, I don't know her pronoun, them. I was telling them that to make a gothic bathroom, it shouldn't cost you $100. Whether that's 100 American, Canadian, Quids, whatever. Just get a black sheet. Just do whatever. Hang it, please put pictures of the bands that you like.
Well, it's one of those things. If you have to do stuff, you could do it goth, because I'm not doing my house goth, but I need to replace faucets because they're shitty.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something. It'll be a little more towards goth. I did not get black. Don't get excited. But that would be when I would put goth appointments in, is when things like that need to be replaced that are going to be fucking expensive anyway. Spend $30 more, get the more goth looking thing.
Yeah.
But to just completely redo, I get it. The compulsion to do it, I get it. But you can just take all your old goth shit and stick it on a shelf in there and then paint your walls gray. You're good.
Yeah.
So that's...
It's okay. I painted my home 8 different colors, whatever, but it shouldn't have to cost you 7,000 American. It just...
Right.
Or as you say, in America, it's certifiable.
Right, but also in the U.S., we really like our surface stuff. We really like the big C word here. And
Yay, things.
we're raised with it. So even those of us who fight against it, we have some of that in us. So if somebody's not fighting against us, yeah, they're like, oh, look, I have the most, whatever it is, the oral narcissism, so people can tell you how great it is. That's an American societal thing. It's comparative to some of the Greek oral narcissism, because we want to hear how great we are. Achieve, 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 achieve. So now I have the most, whatever the thing is.
Well, my issue with it is at least have some integrity. At least, if you want to spend $7,000 to give your Lou a gothic facelift, go for it. But at least, make a statement. Say, okay, just to let you know, this doesn't make me goth. What makes me goth is I love this genre.
Right.
I grew up in this genre. I support many bands. At least, just have that kind of integrity and decency to stick with subculture.
I'm much more likely to do a giveaway with that money. I would spend $3,000 and spend like $1,000 giving away shit. That's what makes me happy. I like to put goth things in the hands of goths, and by goth things I mean music.
Yeah, like that synthesizer I said in chat I would buy.
Right. Yeah,
which is only half of the $7,000, so I could do things with the rest of it.
Yeah, that's a nice. Yeah, I have like a $200 worth of music giveaway coming up. Except we had a pandemic. Oh yeah, dude, I got 3 LPs, 2 cassettes, and 3 CDs going out with some stickers and buttons and stuff.
Lovely.
But we have a pandemic.
Well, it's going to have to wait.
Yeah, right. So let's see what else I collect, because I think I've seen another cassette tape I want to put in there.
I have so many cassettes coming my way. My dream is to be the Sam of cassettes.
I don't play them. I'm trying to play LPs, but my brand new record player doesn't turn on. So we'll see. We'll see if kind people can help me make it work.
We'll see what we can do.
Right. I started crying when it didn't come on, y'all. I put my Sounds Like Winter because this album has significance to me. It was a gift from Sounds Like Winter. So I wanted it to be the first thing that got played on my brand new LP player, because mine got destroyed 100 years ago and I haven't replaced LPs, and I've just started collecting them. So I was like, I'm going to play the first band. I did first lesson. It's going to be so good. It's got the red splatter. And the player wouldn't come on. I started crying because I was so sad. It's been a long road. We are in extraordinary times right now. So anyway, we need to cut this off because I think everybody's bedtime is,
Yeah.
I get in bed and then have insomnia for a while. Oh, Dea, now I love you more because Shroud. Because you're wearing a fucking shroud. That's like...
I've been wearing this on and off for like half the night, and then I'm just fascinated by the silk of it because
I love fancy ass fabric, but I also like to wear shrouds and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so I think we're gonna sign off. We're gonna stop the stream.
Well, wonderful night. Thank you for having me.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for showing up.
Here, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love all of you very much.
Thank you for being here. It's so much fun.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, and
Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.
For everybody watching, this is every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern
For
Time.
eternity.
So we're signing off. Stay goth.
Stay dark.